six-year, $200 million contract. Reports ESPN's Jeff Passan has a vesting option that can max out at $270 million and is pending a physical. Correa failed to finalize agreements with the Giants and Mets over concerns about his surgically repaired right leg. Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy's job status will not hinge on the outcome of Monday night's NFC wildcard game against the Buccaneers. That today from team owner Jerry Jones. Jones told 105.3 The Fan McCarthy's job status will not be impacted should Dallas lose, adding he's got a lot more to evaluate his coach on than this playoff game. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
I want Jerry to understand the type of pressure that he puts on a coach, and obviously that exists in Dallas. But Mike McCarthy is being unfairly talked about his job here again for the second year in a row. And the starting quarterback missed 4 games this year, and he's won 12 games.
NBA Warriors point guard Steph Curry ready to return from a left shoulder injury tonight against the Suns.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time you need parts for your car, don't call it quits. Go to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
If you haven't taken...
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
Of Beer City, USA. 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome in to a Victory Tuesday here on the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Let's go, Dogs. The largest bowl victory in the history of college football last night in the national championship. Welcome into the program. We'll have all of your reaction, of course, of the national championship game last night, the future of college football, and what's to look forward to next year.
I'm just hoping you keep that trophy nice and polished for my Florida State Seminoles in 2024.
He's been on
Let's
this all
go,
day.
Benny!
He's been on this all day. We're returning everybody. 57 of the 52 starters are coming back.
Nope, that's not it.
Yeah,
42 of 54.
Whatever it is, I don't.
On the last depth chart.
Okay.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
you and your little whatever quarterback, you enjoy your day. I'm proud of you. I will say TCU money line is the new Jets +7.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm going to be honest with you. If I had live streamed my reaction as soon as you went up 10-0, I went to betus.com and poured everything I had in that account. Georgia -22.5.
As you should have if you weren't live betting to cover up the TCU plus the number, because it seemed like the easiest bet on the planet.
Oh, yeah, that this would be a competitive game.
Yes.
And I will be honest with you, my favorite part of last night, and the number one reason that I will never be a sideline reporter of any kind, sideline comes up to Sonny Dykes at halftime. Sonny, how'd you feel about the first half? Well, that was not good.
Yeah, that didn't go our way.
It weren't good.
That's not how we saw this going. It's not how I saw it going. And wow, what a championship night it was for Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart, and, of course, the greatest quarterback in college football history.
Oh, good
Stetson
Lord.
Pew Pew Bennett.
Pew Pew! Oh, I'm already tired of getting asked draft questions about Stetson Bennett.
Again, welcome into the program. We are here in the Ingles Studio live, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy can be heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and, of course, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. And, yeah, it's time for the opening drive. The opening drive always brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Go to 629 Brevard Road. You're in the market for a new or a certified pre-owned vehicle. All you got to do is drop our name, mention the Sportsocracy. They'll give you $250 on top of whatever your trade-in is worth when you make the transaction. They have the best line of vehicles out there.
I have never been happier to drive my new Nissan than returning from Miami after I drove a rental car that I'm pretty sure was the car that Tank traded in to get his new Nissan. That was a harrowing experience. But now, back in my Frontier, safest vehicle on the road. It's all thanks to Fred Anderson Nissan, 629 Brevard Road. Tell them the two formerly fat guys sent you.
Indeed. So last night, that TCU thing didn't really go our way. The Cinderella story of all Cinderella stories in college football, that turned into a pumpkin quick.
Yep, 4 minutes into the game, Jeremy's brain was about right here.
I'm never going to financially recover from this.
TCU, I expected something, and I felt like the cartoon with the stick.
Do something!
Just do something. But after the third turnover in a row for TCU, I went, oh, well, I know how this is going to go. And then I just sat back and comfortably watched the other 3/4 of the football game, just enjoying what I was seeing. If you'd have told me that less than a minute into the fourth quarter, Georgia would pull Stetson Bennett off the field, I would have said it's because he made the fourth mistake in a row, not finding Brock Bowers the way that Kirby Smart told him he needed to after the Ohio State game. I did not think it was going to be curtain call time with still 13:50 to go.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was not good.
Unbelievable. Stetson played out of his mind. He was he was great. He threw for over 300 yards, threw for 4 touchdowns. He ran 2 touchdowns in as well.
Biggest win in the history of bowl games.
58 points.
The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl has never had a blowout like we saw in the national title game last night. Georgia outgained them. Do you know the final yardage numbers?
It was a whole bunch to a very little.
They outgained them by 401 yards. That's a quarter of a mile.
Uh-huh.
It was legitimately the worst college football game I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
And I feel like Randy the Plumber that, you know what, College Football Playoff Committee, you owe us an apology.
Yeah, there was a Mississippi State fan that I saw the video pop up. I think it was on my Facebook feed or something. This dude was livid.
His name is Randy the Plumber.
Was screaming into his phone with the TV behind him just going, y'all owe us, this is pathetic. And I thought,
it is not safe for the work environment.
No. He was demanding apologies. He was demanding everybody on the committee be fired for putting TCU into this. That what were their qualifications? He kept saying. Okay, well, they did earn their way into the national championship game by beating the second-ranked team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines. And
this is exactly why on Selection Sunday, when they put this together, I went, you boo-booed this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could have had, I just want you to think about, if you just, one little change, maybe think about things before you do them. You could have had this game in the semis.
Mm-hmm.
TCU had just lost. Ohio State's only loss was to Michigan, who was the 2. You could have had Michigan-Ohio State on New Year's Eve. Tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
You're guaranteed one of them's going to win and play Georgia.
Right. You're guaranteed
and that would have been a lot more palatable than what we saw last night.
Absolutely.
I understand revisionist history is easy. I did say this when it happened. I don't like, but now I thought TCU was going to get freight trained by Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I fell for it.
Of course, we all did. After TCU came out and controlled the game against Michigan early, and Michigan had to rally back, we went, oh, well, maybe we've undersold TCU all year long. Georgia's had its flaws here and there throughout the season. I've said this before on the show, and I mean, this will be the last time I get to say it, sadly, because Stetson Bennett's time is done at Georgia.
Hallelujah.
But when the lights get bigger, Stetson turns it on. The bigger the game, the better he plays. And that wasn't the case to start out the Ohio State game in the semifinal, but then what happened at the end? It was Stetson Bennett putting the team on his back, making the plays to get the win over Ohio State.
You could have had Colt Bennett playing quarterback last night. It would not have mattered.
It would not. It would not have mattered. But it wasn't Colt Bennett.
If you had Jeremy makes the ranch reference 8 minutes into the show, congratulations. Sportsocracy bingo.
It was Stetson Bennett who they're already fashioning the statue for him outside the stadium down in Athens.
And please, do me a favor. Stop asking me, well, why can't he be an NFL quarterback? He's a winner. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so is Tim Tebow. Okay. Mm-hmm. And from a physical standpoint, exponentially better than Stetson Bennett. He's not an NFL quarterback. I've been asked that question 20 times. A third stringer. But Brock Purdy.
Indeed.
Stop. Just stop. Enjoy the day and move on. And I will be honest with you, my biggest takeaway from last night, you're going to see a lot of what you saw last night in a 12-team playoff.
Oh, yeah.
I already hate the playoff, and it hadn't even happened yet.
Oh, yeah. When you get actual, real, championship implications on the line. See, last night was what I expected to see, from a Tulane. When Tulane goes up against USC in a meaningful game, there's still championship hopes on the line. That's what I expected to see out of a team like that. I did not expect it out of TCU, but maybe we should have.
We should have. I got duped, and I knew it immediately. I was at the Village Porch, 41 North Merriman Avenue. That's where we watch all of our football games. And no more than 5 minutes into this game, I looked around and went, I'm in danger. Mm-hmm. I'm on the wrong side of this, and this is going to be a whole lot to very little.
And how about that speed? Oh, speed kills, as Jeremy saying yesterday about TCU, the speed.
Oh, look, they were open. There were plenty of times that they were wide. Max Dugan was as bad as I have ever seen a quarterback be.
But why?
Well, there's a mixture of that. One, he was terrified.
Exactly.
And so he never set his feet ever. He missed Quentin Johnson on a throw that I'm pretty sure children could make. Mm-hmm. And that's when I went, this is not your night.
Yeah, but
there's nothing you can do.
That was the thing that we undersold. We undersold the dominance of the Georgia defense.
Well, if you remember what I said, TCU. Do you remember exactly what I said about this game when we talked about it? There's two ways this can go. There's two ways this can go, and I don't remember it verbatim, but I remember I'm going to get pretty close. There's two ways this can go. Either it's going to be really high scoring, great game, or TCU's going to get demolished. And that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm done. After last night, I'm done. I don't want to hear about Cinderella and, we want everybody to have a chance. You don't have a chance. Let me give you a little stat that I've yet to hear anybody say. 4 biggest bowl games the SEC played. Played the Big 12 champion, Big 12 runner-up, Big 10 runner-up, ACC champion. They were 4-0. Mm-hmm. Do you know what the combined score of those 4 games was?
No.
204-48. Think about what I just said.
Yeah, that's...
And the vast majority of those points came from Ohio State. Vast majority. Mm-hmm. The SEC is just better. The SEC and the Big Ten are better. I don't want to hear about the Big 12 anymore. I don't want to hear about the Pac-12 anymore. And the ACC, you'll have one every once in a while. I think you have one next year, maybe 2. Depends on how good Cade Klubnik is. Mm-hmm. Other than that, SEC Big Ten Invitational.
But that's nothing we didn't know. I didn't know
it like this.
We already knew.
I didn't know that you could go 65-7 with a team that I was never overly impressed by.
Right.
I was more impressed by Georgia last night than I have been for any 5-minute stretch of the entire season. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think you would have done that to Alabama? No, I don't. I don't think you'd have done it to Michigan. I don't think you'd have done it to Ohio State. I saw it against Ohio State.
It was the perfect storm. It was the perfect storm of everything.
This is why people like me don't care about your fare. All right? You take your Tulanes, you can take your TCUs, and you can go play in the Tony the Tiger Cheez-It Sunkissed Bowl. I don't want to see you in national title games ever again. And this 12-team playoff, it sounds really good. Mm-hmm. It sounds like, it's going to be so much fun. No, it's going to be a lot of that. I'm not telling you it'll be that bad. You're going to see a lot of just complete physical domination. And later in this hour, we're going to give you what we see going into next year, and you're going to see a theme. Mm-hmm. Not going to see many horned frogs, I promise you. Won't see many green waves. Going to see a lot of the big boys.
Yep.
Because now this NIL thing, it has greatly. There was already a chasm in talent between a team like TCU and a team like Georgia. Mm-hmm. It is exponentially bigger now than it's ever been before.
Absolutely. We know that the elite teams in the SEC are better than the other team, the other quote-unquote elite teams from the other conferences, especially the lesser of the Power Five.
Big
the ACC,
you can say the Big 12,
12s.
you can say the Pac-12. It's fine.
And the
That's
ACC.
The ACC, I would say, is the ACC at least have teams that can play defense.
I was going to say at least.
Name me the last really good defensive team that came out of the Big 12 or the Pac-12. Usually they play in games like this and just get boat raced. Mm-hmm. And even if they score with you, they give up 1 billion points.
Yes.
I can't put the ACC in that. And there's a very dedicated reason to that. And one of them plays about an hour and a half from here, and the other one plays in the state that I was in yesterday morning.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Yes, Georgia is your back-to-back national champions. And in blowout fashion we've never seen before. 58-point win over the TCU Horned Frogs. When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Don't go through another year with that knee pain or back pain. People with chronic joint pain are getting real lasting relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to target aching joints, repairing and restoring damaged tissue so you can move again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Got shoulder pain, excruciating hip pain? If you have any arthritis pain or lingering pain from an injury, don't let them operate on you or give you more steroids. And say no to the pain pills. Call QC Kinetics and see if their all-natural treatments can get you living your best life in the new year. This is the future of joint pain management, and appointments are available as soon as the next week. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. With locations in Asheville and Greenville. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
It's ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy. Georgia Bulldogs back on top of the college football world. Well, still on top of the college football world, I guess we should say. Back-to-back national championships, the first team since Alabama to do it. And, I mean, where do you think this puts them? Where does this put this 2-year run all time?
All time?
Yeah. Is it better than the Alabama back-to-back?
No. I mean, I don't see it that way. And maybe it's just you don't have that offensive weapon that has come out of this team yet that I look at and I mean, you compare player for player here, and it's not really all that close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're good, and everybody seems to be just chalking it up that they'll be there next year. Oh, I'm not. You're not going three-peat. I hate to break it to you, you're not going three-peat. The chances of you lucking into another quarterback like that are they're not great. Because the skill position guys outside of Brock Bowers are not overly impressive.
They're pretty good.
Okay, name me the receiver.
A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell's a dog.
He's good, but he's not Johnny Wilson.
Oh, stop that.
No, that was actually one that I meant. I actually meant that. You just don't, and I guess that's the problem, is that when you look back on these teams, I think back to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
You had Miami in the early 2000s where you put in 54 players in the NFL or something ridiculous like that off two teams.
Right.
You're not going to do that. You're going to have a lot of really good defensive players.
Whole bunch of them.
A whole bunch.
A whole mess.
I just don't know that any of them outside of Jalen Carter are going to be all pros.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like Jordan Davis. He plays two downs. And maybe that's me being the draft guy. That's how I remember these teams.
Yep.
I more think of who did you produce?
Look, I had to ask you the question because you know where I come down on this. I mean, of course, it's the greatest back-to-back of all time, and there will be nothing that ever matches it.
Of course it is. It's the most recent thing we've seen. Thank you, Captain Millennial, for
No, I'm a fan of the team. Of course it's going to be the best thing.
The last thing we saw is always the greatest.
Everybody tapped out on that game last night in the second quarter, and I don't blame you. If I wasn't a team of the Georgia Bulldogs, I wouldn't have watched the rest of the game either.
I watched every second of it just to torture myself. You did this to yourself. You took the horny toads, and you now must watch all 60 minutes of this game. That is your punishment.
It was just sheer domination on both sides of the ball for Georgia. I mean, they won the battle at the line of scrimmage, and that's what it all boiled down to. And that's honestly the Kirby Smart way. Elite defense. You don't have to have superstars as he proved this past year. That was the biggest question from last year. Was you had all of these top flight first round draft picks leave for the NFL. Can you do the same thing? Can you be as dominant on defense as you were last year? And they weren't. I mean, let's be honest. The splash plays and stuff, obviously they took a hit in that category on defense. They gave up a few more points, and there were moments in the season where you went, I just don't know. I just don't know if they can do it again. And then they ended up against TCU in the national championship game, and it was clear. It was clear who the class of college football is and who the best coach in college football is. It's Kirby Smart.
Yeah, seeing Nick Saban have to eat that coming from David Pollock was fun for me. Georgia's clearly the class of college football.
I mean, I know
Nick
it's
Saban
I know it's a
dies
cookie cutter. Yeah, I know it's a cookie cutter statement after games like this, but Stetson Bennett nailed it on the head. Hit the nail on the head. There we go. Got it. It's
first
heads
day.
And nails and tails and squirrels. I don't know.
First day in the language.
But he said, I mean, they put together a perfect game plan between Todd Monken calling the offense and Kirby Smart on the defense. And I should have known. I guess I should have known. Listening to Kirby Smart talk about analyzing the 3-3-5 defense of TCU and just going on and on and on about how much he loves this scheme and how innovative it is and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's a nerd of the game. And so he cut apart everything they could possibly do and went to Todd and said, here's your game plan. This is how you beat it. And it was with the 12 personnel. Darnell Washington and Brock Bowers, they had no answer for it.
Nope.
None whatsoever.
No, they didn't.
And
it was laughably bad to watch.
Yep.
And that's really all you can say about it. And Georgia just physically dominated them. It was very obvious from very early on that of the 44 starters on the field, the best 22 of 30 were Georgia Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed quick. One injury to a TCU lineman, now they can't block you.
Right.
Even with Steve Avila, who was going to be a second-round pick, didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't matter. Just go with the new guy.
Yeah.
And they freight trained him repeatedly. So there you go. Now, I will say, after just about outside, we're going to talk about who to look for next year. Of the top 10, you've got about a consensus of who the top 10 teams going into next year are. Do you know how many of them return their starting quarterback?
3.
It's 3. That's it.
That was a shot in the dark. I did not know the
It's
answer to that
3. They're all high-end players.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all 3 Heisman potential players. But the 3 most talented teams, none of them return quarterbacks, which could lead to a very interesting 2023.
Right. Your early odds for the 2023-2024 national championship in college football is Georgia at the top. These are the DraftKings odds that I have here in front of me. Georgia's plus 275. Alabama's plus 500. Michigan and Ohio State both plus 800. Everyone else is plus 1,000 or plus 1,200 or more. After that, it goes Clemson, USC, Tennessee, Florida State at plus 2,000.
And Jeremy might possibly already have a hefty wager on that last plus 2,000 that you said.
Yes, we know you do. We know you do. Who's going to be the surprise of next year? Who could be the surprise of next year? We'll do that in today's daily draft coming up at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. 4 o'clock hour, yes, we're going to get back into talking the NFL. We'll talk about the actually, it's a Power Rankings Tuesday. So Power Rankings.
The only thing is that 18 teams in the NFL now don't matter. So it's hard to devote a 3-hour show to power ranking the 14 remaining.
Exactly. So 4 o'clock hour is going to be all about the power rankings of the 14 teams that have made the NFL playoffs. Georgia's the class of college football for now. It's been back-to-back years. Is this the start of a dynasty? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say it's already it's fully in motion now. 3 years ago, you were in the national championship game. And now you've won back-to-back national championships. Only Alabama and Nick Saban have done that. And, you know, as if you were listening to Adam Gold before this, you heard Wes Durham on there talking about that's what Kirby Smart has created. I've said that time and time again. He has created Alabama East. And the domination will not stop just because a few players go to the NFL. He's winning the recruiting battle every year. He's had 7 top 3 classes in recruiting.
There's a few that are going to be, I think, a little closer than you want to give them their flowers for.
All right, let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Somebody challenged me yesterday in the comments on the YouTube stream to just put it all out on the table. Just go full on in with the Georgia Bulldogs. Take them to cover the spread. Take them with the over and all that. And I couldn't do it. I thought TCU was going to give them a run for their money. Obviously, that's not how that went out, but, Jeremy, he went TCU plus the points, plus he went outright money line.
Yeah, and then he hedged that and made it a profitable night. That, folks, is why you live bet.
I told you it was not a good idea to go TCU for the win, but not everybody listened. Shaquille O'Neal was one of them. On Inside the NBA, he was on the set with Ernie Johnson, who is a Georgia grad. He's an all thing, guy born and bred in Georgia, all things Atlanta. And he was talking about the college football playoff, and Shaq chimed in. Obviously, Shaq being the LSU guy, probably a little butthurt still from the SEC championship game where Georgia just smoked his Tigers, and said that if Georgia were to beat TCU in the national championship, that he'd eat a frog. Well, Shaq, I hope you're hungry, because I think you should have to eat at least 3 bags of frogs after that.
Do they come in bags?
I don't know. I've always.
But see, that's not really. You're not losing anything. Bucket. You're not losing anything there.
What?
Frog tastes like chicken.
That's
it's
true.
Very little chicken, and there's a lot of work to get very little meat.
It's very tasty though.
It's fine, and I'm not going to jump up and down about it. But it's also not really a punishment.
I like frog legs.
Unlike what I'm going to conjure for when your Tampa Bay Buccaneers get just slaughtered by the Dallas Cowboys. So far, Tank has liked none of my opining.
No. You've not come up with that one that I'll go, yeah, that's not going to end up with me either in jail or in the hospital. So,
yeah, it wouldn't go particularly well for you.
No. So Shaq said he would eat a frog on Inside the NBA, and I just got a feeling. Flip it over to TNT for the next edition. They're probably going to have some fried frog legs or something for him to eat. And by the way, I will just say, if you haven't had frog legs, it's worth a shot. You may like it.
It's fine. My outside story is also of the wagering variety. Mattress Mac did it again. Who's shocked?
Put
a team
$6
plays
billion on TCU.
No, just $3.13 million.
Woo!
$3.13 million he had on TCU. $1.5 million at DraftKings, TCU plus 370. Had another $1.5 million plus 400 at Caesars, and then $130,000 TCU plus 380 with WinBet. But not all a loss for old Mattress Mac, because he did exactly what it was that he usually does. He ran a promotion with his mattress store. You can come in, buy your Sealy Posturepedic or whatever bed you want, and if TCU wins, we'll give you your money back. But this time, he doubled it. He knew that the fervor for a TCU national title game was not going to be the same as the Astros or the Cowboys or any of these other teams he's put wagers on in the past. So he offered, not only will we give you your money back, we'll double it if TCU wins.
Oh.
So you can assume how many mattresses he sold. Doesn't have an exact number, but I'm going to assume it's a lot. But since they lost, you get nothing except a lovely night's sleep.
Indeed.
Which is very important. I learned that from the hotel in Miami. Not a great bed.
And the question is, did he sell more than $3 million worth of mattresses out of that deal?
I'm sure he got it. I'm sure he got his money out of it.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
As always, Just a Bit Outside, brought to you by Rogue Combat Club, the ultimate gym here in Asheville, North Carolina, and the only one that we actually support. Go see Johnny down on Tunnel Road. Rogue Combat Club, the ultimate MMA experience.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable numbers for the midweek forecast, and we head uphill with south winds into the Thursday forecast. Our next weather maker comes in Thursday night. Some rain showers Thursday afternoon, turning colder for Friday and the weekend. Could see some light snows for the top of the weekend. 32 our low tonight. Wednesday partly cloudy, high 55. Half-inch rains Thursday afternoon, high 60. And some light rain or light snow Friday, high 38. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in 2 bold flavors, Chipotle Ranch and Salsa Verde. They're bursting with grilled chicken and delicious sauces. Get your $2 grilled chicken burrito at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only, while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
All the radio stations you love, every playlist to match your mood, the podcasts that everyone's talking about. If it's on the iHeartRadio app, it's free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio. If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cod?
You know, I wasn't really bored with the national championship game.
I was.
I mean, until I was. Because at some point, even if it's your own team that is doing the frog stomping, then...
Say what you did there.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. You get to a point where you go, okay, just stop the damn match. You go full...
Throw in the towel!
Right. You go full on Apollo Creed manager of just, let's call this thing a day. When they took Stetson Bennett off the field in the fourth quarter, you know, okay, and now we can go. But then you had Carson Beck come in. He looked all right, obviously. I mean, the game's out of control there. Branson Robinson came in, scored a couple of touchdowns, and this was Kirby Smart's way of going, see, we're not completely lost. We have a succession plan at both of these positions.
Well, this is going to be a top 5-ish team again next year.
You said one wrong, but okay.
I don't think they are one. I don't think they are one. Look, you've got a lot. This is one of those times that I'm looking around the sport going, there are a couple teams that are figuring this out at a very high level. My Florida State Seminoles are one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon State is another one of them. You're adding ready-made products out of the transfer portal. I'll be honest with you, that's where I would be spending my time. Because I know what these players are. I'm already looking at ready-made products. And I think next year you're going to have – this is going to be a weird year in college football because you have so few known quantities at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jordan Travis at Florida State. You got Bo Nix at Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, do you know who the third one is? I told you before the break the consensus top 10.
Well, I mean, you left Caleb Williams out.
Caleb Williams was the understood one.
Drake May.
Carolina's not a consensus top 10 team. They're not even close.
Oh, well,
they're not in the top 20
I didn't know we were limiting this to
just top 10.
Okay.
The only other returning starter, and it's the reason I said 3, is you got Caleb Williams, Jordan Travis, Bo Nix. There is a fourth one depending on how you see this. It's Jaden Daniels at LSU. End of message. Repeat the line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm looking at teams like Florida State, like Oregon, and like Notre Dame. Notre Dame gets Sam Hartman, who I'm sure you don't watch a lot of Wake Forest football because it's not the most palatable thing to watch. That's a high-level commitment.
Yeah, he's been around long enough. You should know who he is by now.
And he's a very good, very veteran quarterback. And I feel like every one of those teams has a leg up. I'm not telling you that Alabama and Ohio State and Georgia don't have another great player in the offense. But what I'm going to immediately remind you of is, yeah, Clemson had that too with DJ Uiagalelei. Took them 2 years to figure out, nope, that's not the plan. That's not the plan. And I will tell you, Kirby's loyal to a fault too. He stuck with Stetson Bennett. That worked out.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't necessarily think it was going to. I specifically remember you calling for JT Daniels, as did
Absolutely. Over and over and over again.
And I don't know where Ohio State, I don't know where Alabama go at quarterback. It's very telling to me that somebody offered Drake May a boatload of money. Well, he also committed to Alabama before he committed to North Carolina. So I don't think you have to be a rocket surgeon to figure out where that came from.
Right. But when it comes to those teams, it doesn't really matter because you know they'll find somebody. You know they'll have somebody in line, like you said with Georgia. I mean, Stetson Bennett came out of nowhere. He was not expected to be anything. That's why the story is so great.
He was a walk-on, then a JUCO, then he came back.
Right. And even when he came back, it wasn't a foregone conclusion that he should be the quarterback. Hell, before the national championship game last year, there were people saying that JT Daniels needed to start the championship game because they didn't think Stetson Bennett could do it. Now, by that point, I had fully embraced Cowboy Hat Bennett as the quarterback. I didn't have a lot of faith that he would be able to come back and do it again, but he just kept winning. He was the perfect quarterback for the situation. But you have 5-star guys sitting behind these guys just waiting to play.
And that's fine. I just feel like there's a revisionist history. Not all of these are winners. All right, they're just not.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, because I've deep dived on every one of these top, not too early, top 25s. There's a lot of people that just seem to be putting their fingers in their ears going, you know what, Georgia will figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama will figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State will figure it out.
Because they always do.
They don't always. That's exactly where I'm headed. They don't always do that.
Alabama does. Alabama always figures it out.
There were a lot of Greg McElroy years that people seem to forget about. Not every one of them was a Tua Tagovailoa or a Mac Jones. There was a lot of, Greg was fine. You won largely because of what was around him, not because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And see, my problem is that I'm looking at Alabama, I'm looking at Georgia going, you don't have that talent anymore. You don't have George Pickens or, in Alabama's case, Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. You need those quarterbacks to be Bryce Young and what Cowboy Hat Bennett was. Man, it feels weird to put those two in the same sentence. You need that. And so I'm looking at this going, I feel like a lot of people are going to funnel money at Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State. I don't know exactly what you're getting there. I'm not telling you they're not going to be good. This is one of those times. We went into this year going, it's going to be Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. Weird. We were exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
I told you USC. They finished 6th. So this was not a hard year to figure out.
Right.
I don't feel that way next year. I'm looking at a lot of places that you're just looking at the logo on the side of the helmet going, this is going to be just fine. Yep. You remember who called that Clemson fall before it happened? This guy right here. And you know why? Because I saw the same thing there that I see with those three. Well, we're Ohio State. We'll just figure it out. Okay, you had a lot of Cardale Jones before you had Justin Fields and before you had C.J. Stroud. So, just
well, to be fair,
before you
Cardale was the third stringer. So
he was the starter for a year. He's the starter for 2 years, actually. So I am just saying, you say, well, they'll just figure it out. There's a few teams sitting behind you that are loading themselves up that are being very largely overlooked.
All right, so let's hear it. Let's get into the next year's way too early top 10.
If I had a vote in the college football top 25 poll next year, Florida State be my one. You call me crazy all you want to.
Yeah. That's full
I told
homerism.
you at the end of it's not homerism. You're returning more than any team in the nation, and you just signed the best transfer class in the country.
Well,
You've signed 11 4- and 5-star recruits out of the transfer portal. These aren't freshmen that are 2 years away. There's a reason Jared Verse is coming back. There's a reason Jordan Travis is coming back. There's a reason Johnny Wilson's coming back. You call me a homer all you want to. I've been quiet about this because I've been watching this for weeks. Before I went on vacation, I told you I'm hearing weird things that Jared Verse may not come out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, weird. He didn't. They're going to be in the top 5. You call me a homer all you want to, and I got news for you. They're going to get number 1 votes, too. That team is stacked. Tell you another team that's stacked, Utah. Utah returns almost everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They lose a running back and a couple other late day 3 players. Other than that, and a tight end. Other than that, you don't really lose anything.
And where does that put them? Do you have them at 2?
No.
Okay.
No, for me.
You're actively drunk if you do.
Well, I mean, and you also got to realize that I'm doing this in January. I have one very known quantity here that I've seen be very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you're returning, and I know what these guys look like. I'm not opining, well, we got this 5-star out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama that had 47 sacks as a freshman or as a high school senior. Yeah, I've watched a lot of those guys go to college and
do
just
nothing.
fail miserably.
Mm-hmm.
What I haven't seen is a lot of transfers that were really good as the guy at South Carolina or Stalker. I'm thinking of specifically where Florida State's taking players from.
Right.
I don't see a lot of those guys flail out because I've already seen what they are. And so I'm just telling you, NC State's another one. NC State doesn't lose a ton.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of guys coming back, and they're bringing in Brennan Armstrong from Virginia. I'm not telling you that those teams will be in the top 5. Florida State will be. If I was picking a top 5, it would be in some combination. Florida State, Georgia, Ohio State defensively has been so bad that it's hard for me to put them up there.
Doesn't matter. Though.
But I mean, I'm going to. Michigan, Alabama, USC. I would say I have a top 6. Okay. Because in large part, they have known quantities to some point. Mm-hmm. There's only one team that I'm looking at. I know exactly what you are from 1 to 22. Every other one of these teams has a yeah, but.
Mm-hmm.
And when that yeah, but is quarterback, it's hard for me to look at that and go, all right, in futures, which I did very nicely at this year, by the way, Duke and Kansas. You're welcome. That's the 2 earliest bets I've ever had cash out in my life.
Right.
It's weird when you hit a futures bet in September.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at the futures numbers going, people are going to load up heavy on Georgia. They're going to load up heavy on Alabama. They're going to load up heavy on Ohio State. And I'm not sure that's the right path. Georgia plays nobody. So you get a ton of time to figure it out.
Right.
But what if you don't? You lose all these players, and now you don't have Cowboy Hat Bennett that pulled you out of how many games this year? How many games could you certifiably have lost if your quarterback didn't go win it for you? And now you're just telling me some freshman, well, he's the backup. He'll be just fine. Yeah, I've seen that go the wrong way plenty of times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it will. It's food for thought. I can't justify Georgia at plus 250 losing as much as they're going to lose.
Yeah. Obviously, they're going to lose a lot, but again,
and I'll tell you another team that I haven't
and repeat thing. Now.
And I'll tell you another team that I haven't mentioned, LSU.
They'll be pretty
LSU's going to be very daunting to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Kayshawn Booty's coming back to school, isn't he?
No, he's not.
Oh, I thought he decided he was going to come back.
Yeah, he said he was, and then not so much. And if you don't know why, that's what Google's for, because I can't talk about it on this show because it's illegal and it's a thing that you shouldn't do.
Really? He did crimes?
Yeah, he and 2 coaches and a member of the athletic training staff.
Interesting.
Google it. Allegedly. That's the word but it's weird. 2 of them got fired, and he went to the NFL. So
right.
It's one of those, I feel like where there's smoke, there's probably fire.
I mean,
the
first year, Brian Kelly did go much better than we expected it was going to with LSU. And so, yeah, they should be in the top 10.
LSU's going to be right on the outside of the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Those first 5 schools that I said, that will be your consensus top 5 everywhere. I have yet to see a ranking that does not have them in that order.
Not in that order.
Or those 5 in some order.
I was going to say, not in that order, because I've seen no one say Florida State's going to be the number 1
I've
team in
seen
the
2
country.
that have Florida State at 1.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone I've seen, it's Georgia at number 1.
But they also have the same problem that I do of, all right, once we get to the spring game, now we can talk. The day after the national title, where I'm watching half of your roster declare for the draft, might be a little soon for me.
And you never know. You never know who might stay in school. NIL money is that's one hell of an advantage that teams now have. The NIL is good for some things, and it's keeping guys in school when they would otherwise go to the NFL draft. Jared Verse, chief among them. If he had no NIL money coming in from Florida State, there is not a shot in Hades.
We also got to remember
he
had only been a full-time defensive end for a year. Look, you call me a homer all you want to. There's something weird happening in Florida State. I am a booster at Florida State, so I hear a lot of things. Just telling you, there's something different about that.
Mm-hmm.
When the entire team lathers up and you're losing one starter, okay. You can ignore that if you choose to, but I don't think that's in your best interest.
Yeah, you are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Who could be the surprise team in the college football playoff next year, like TCU was this year? We'll do that in the daily draft coming up at the top of the 5 o'clock hour.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
It has been the best year of my life because of the PhD weight loss program. I've lost over 90 pounds. I feel like I have a new lease on life because PhD has given me all the tools to success to finally conquer my weight problem. They've given me so much support. I cannot thank the health coaches at PhD enough for helping me stay motivated throughout this entire process.
I have long not had a weight problem. I've had a lazy problem. Fast food was easier. Hectic schedule, you just do what you do on the fly. After a year on PhD, I'm back to my high school weight. All of the health issues that I was having have gone away, and it's all thanks to the planning program of PhD weight loss.
It is amazing how you feel when you lose a tiny person. Losing 90 pounds with PhD in a year, they can help you have the best year of your life going forward. It's time to start making all of those New Year's resolutions. Probably a good time to go over and visit myphdweightloss.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. Well, it still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or just go to eBay Motors and get it right the first time. With over 122 million parts, they have the parts that fit your vehicle. Air filters, tires, headlights, brakes, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-290-5599. That's 1-800-290-5599. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-290-5599. That's 1-800-290-5599.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com.
Your passion is NFL football. Your access is total. Every weekday, NFL Total Access hits you with uncut. He can't be stopped. Uncensored. I love that. And unapologetic takes on all things NFL. That's how crazy it is. We go beyond what happened to tell you how it happened and what happens now. Those are the facts. On the field, inside the huddle, and under the helmet. This is NFL Total Access, the podcast. Listen weekdays on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. You mentioned Ohio State. Like, it doesn't really matter what they have coming back. You know that they're going to be at the top of the Big Ten. You know they're going to be the team to beat. It's going to be them and Michigan right in it. And you got to look at the schedules. Like it really, to me, it really doesn't matter how you feel about the team and what they're returning. Look at the schedule. Like, with all the talent and the coaching that they have, Ohio State is going to be another one-loss team at worst. Georgia will be a one-loss team. I mean, I don't know how, but maybe Tennessee gets lucky. Maybe Ole Miss gets lucky. But I see Tennessee taking a step back.
I really don't.
You think Joe Milton is the savior here?
I think he can run that offense the same way Hendon Hooker did.
Okay.
And if he can, I believe it can.
And how about the receivers?
They added a ton. I think they signed 4 that will be freshmen, and I got 2 more transfers.
I mentioned those games because those are like the only 2 games in conference play that Georgia can lose. The rest of them, the non-conference schedule is laughable. There's no Oregon on this schedule. There was going to be in Oklahoma, but they made them ditch that game. So now their non-conference schedule is UAB and Georgia Tech and Ball State and somebody else. I don't remember.
But my only point is that one of those 3 teams is going to take a step back. We're just lathering this up like we're going to do it all over again. You're underestimating how much you lose.
Mm-hmm.
You mark my words, one of those 4 teams that we just seem to be, well, of course they'll be, but they'll just figure it out. One of them will take a step back. You mark my words.
Yep.
And I mean, a step back is you lose 2 games, and you're not in the college football playoff discussion.
Right.
There are a lot of very talented, very deep, very senior-laden teams coming back next year.
Are you with Jeremy Greene? Do you think the Florida State Seminoles should be a pick for preseason number 1 next year? It's hard to argue with the talent that they have coming back. There is something to be said for all of that leadership.
The transfer portal's been open for 24 days. 7 of those days, Florida State has signed the best transfer available in the portal. You take that information for what it's worth. I said the same thing about USC last year, and I was pretty right.
Mm-hmm. Now the question is, can Mike Norvell make them all play as a championship caliber team? That is the big question. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. It's a Power Ranking Tuesday. Power ranking the NFL's playoff teams next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable numbers for the midweek forecast, and we head uphill with south winds into the Thursday forecast. Our next weather maker comes in Thursday night. Some rain showers Thursday afternoon, turning colder for Friday and the weekend. Could see some light snows for the top of the weekend. 32 our low tonight. Wednesday partly cloudy, high 55. Half-inch rains Thursday afternoon, high 60. And some light rain or light snow Friday, high 38. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in 2 bold flavors, Chipotle Ranch and Salsa Verde. They're bursting with grilled chicken and delicious sauces. Get your $2 grilled chicken burrito at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Save now on appliances and more at the Truckload event at Lowe's. Get an additional 10% off all in-store clearance appliances and take home what you buy same day. Shop the Truckload event today. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Valid 1/5 through 2/8.
The music we listen to all year long. The anthems that were our soundtrack for 2022. And the stars who made the songs we love.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. New development on Carlos Correa. ESPN's Jeff Passan reports the star shortstop and the Twins are finalizing a 6-year, $200 million contract pending a physical. His agreements with the Giants and Mets weren't finalized because of concerns about his surgically repaired right leg. Bears GM Ryan Poles backed quarterback Justin Fields as their starter for 2023, said they'd have to be absolutely blown away to take a QB with the #1 overall pick in this year's draft. Staying with Fields is the right call for Chicago, believes ESPN's Herm Edwards.
He checks enough boxes for me that I would be fine with him being the quarterback going forward. I think you can trade out of that first pick, get you some more picks, because when you think about this football team, they couldn't protect this guy, and he can run. They need offensive line help. You can go get you some receivers.
Herman Fitz and Harry. On 105.3 The Fan today in Dallas, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said he's got complete confidence in Coach Mike McCarthy and staff. Asked if a loss in the NFC wildcard game to the Buccaneers could impact McCarthy's job, Jones said no, he's got a lot more to evaluate Mike McCarthy on.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Welcome back into the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. And, of course, ESPN Asheville and the Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go with the iHeart Radio app. The Sportsocracy also seen on YouTube. Every time we're live here on the ESPN Asheville, we are also on the YouTubes. You can see our beautiful faces and all of the wonderful graphics that Jeremy pours all of his hard-earned time into, and makes it look great. Always appreciate your work. Just I'm not taking shots. Just want to let you know.
It's a lot easier than I make it sometimes.
As always, you can get in on the chat in the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link. You have to subscribe to the channel to get into the chat. You can also join the House of Reprehensibles. We had cousin Colin Greene, not really related to Jeremy, but he gifted another 5 memberships.
Wrong Colin.
Oh, it was the wrong Colin.
Yeah, that's.
I did
was
that
Colin
last time,
Colin.
didn't I?
You did.
Didn't I? Okay, so
we have 2 Collins.
We have 2 Collins, and they confuse me. So the other Colin, not cousin Colin Greene, the other Colin gifted 5 Sportsocracy memberships. You can join the House of Reprehensibles. It's right next to the subscribe button, or after you hit subscribe, I guess it'll pop up right next to it, that you could join the House of Reprehensibles. And
we've also got a rousing conversation going about live watch parties that we did last year.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun. We just
need to find a setup.
Just hanging out in the studio, watching the games, giving our live reactions to it. Maybe some adult beverages were had.
I might have to really fixate on that for the next 3 days.
Indeed. I feel like we should do at least one of those per round.
I would agree with that.
We need to
just got to figure out how to do it.
Do one for wild card weekend, the divisional round, the championship round, and then the Super Bowl is we can't do
Maybe
that.
one of our lovely Asheville breweries would like to contribute to the Sportsocracy Beer Fund. Ain't hard to find.
You never know.
We love Asheville beer.
Jeremy at thesportsocracy.com is the
really original with my email address.
Indeed. Well, you don't want to make it too confusing for people. It is a Power Rankings Tuesday here in the Sportsocracy. There are 18 teams in the NFL that don't matter anymore. Well, for the time being.
Yeah, they're gone.
When it comes to Power Rankings, we don't care. Yes, you would have some playoff teams that rank below teams that didn't make the playoffs, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for playoff action. Wild card weekend is upon us. We got 6 games this weekend. Only 2 teams not playing that are in the playoffs. The number 1 seeds, the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC, the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. It's going to be a great weekend of football, but where do the teams rank coming into Wild Card weekend? So we start, as always, at the bottom.
Like Drake, started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Number 14.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Fire them cannons, by golly. Put more powder in those things.
Yeah, they're bad.
That's the saddest part of all of this, by the way. Saddest part of all of this is whenever this playoff run comes to an end this weekend against Dallas.
No. You don't get to back off that. You've been making fun of me for taking Dallas.
No. You misunderstand. You keep saying we're going to lose by 40, and
Correct.
I don't think there's a shot of that happening at all.
Housed.
No.
LMNO housed.
No. Dallas obviously is the right call here. Dallas is the better team. Dallas should win this game, but it is not going to be a blowout. That is the definitive stance that I have taken on this game. Not anything other than that, just to make that clear. Now, anyway, but whenever this comes to an end, it will be the final broadcast of the play-by-play guy.
And here's my problem with Tampa Bay. So as I was laying this out of where does everybody rank going into this, what do you do well?
They pass the ball well.
Not really.
I mean,
horribly inefficiently.
Sure.
That doesn't mean you do it well.
We rack up.
Just because you rack up yards because you're behind a lot does not mean you're good at this. I just don't see anything you hang your hat on. Even the teams that are down here in this tier, Tom Brady just threw more passes than any quarterback's ever thrown in a year in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
He's 45 years old.
Mm-hmm. We have a hat rack, and its name is Tom Brady.
And I feel like it's a very old rack that is very wobbly, and I won't be shocked when your coats end up on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, look, they like to say the defense is top 5. It's not. Analytically, yards given up, points given up, sure, maybe they rank in the top 5, statistically speaking. But you look at this team on the field, and the defense is not an elite defense anymore.
No. That's the Todd Bowles effect.
Yeah, you have Todd Bowles calling the shots, which hampers everything. It's been a god-awful year offensively. And, just because Tom Brady has broken the completions record, woo! So he threw it 1 billion times. And how many times did he look like he was done? Dirting balls, overthrowing balls. I get that the pressure has been on him. I've had these conversations back and forth with Tampa Bay, super fans all year long. Just because he's throwing for a bunch of yards doesn't mean he's still that guy. Now, with the added pressure of this possibly being the last game that he ever plays, all of that, you're at home, Dallas Cowboys and their propensity to step on their own tails when they get into the playoffs, that's all that I have been saying about this game.
What is the number one rule that I have always used in the playoffs? There are 2 things. You can do one well and win a round, maybe win 2 rounds. If you can't do either one, you're doomed.
Mm-hmm.
What are those two things?
Tell me.
Run the ball. Stop people from running the ball. You're arguably the worst rushing team in NFL history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know who you've played 4 running backs this year? Leonard Fournette, Rashad White, Giovanni Bernard, Keyshawn Vaughn. Do you know who your leader per carry is?
Is it Keyshawn?
Nope. Rashad White. He's averaging 3.7 yards a carry.
Hot.
That's the best of the 4.
Mm-hmm.
You get into situations like this. And what is so damning to me to Tampa Bay is you've lost the ability to stop people running the ball, which was always a calling card of this defense. They were never great in the secondary. They could just force you into bad situations.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you force turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Saw this last night in the national title game. If you're always behind the number, I know exactly what you're doing. So I'm not worried about you catching me off guard with a draw or a screen or anything like that. I know you have to throw it down the field. That really mitigates not being very talented in the back half. You don't have that now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where it went. I don't know what happened. I'm Todd Bowles. I've seen you do this. I watched you do this with the New York Jets.
There's a lot of hope right now for Tampa Bay that there are some guys coming back from injury. Carlton Davis was held out this past week. He's expected to go this weekend. Vita Vea is supposed to be back. That'll help out against the run of Dallas. And then there's Ryan Jansen. The offensive line's been a problem all year long, and it all started because Ryan Jansen went down on the first day of practice with a season-ending injury. Now he's coming back for the playoffs, and there's that wonder that if he can come back and immediately make an impact. Maybe he can, maybe he can't.
One player does not make you this bad. I don't care who it doesn't. I don't care who it is. Tampa Bay steers into a lot of things, and most of them are bad. You got a play caller that really likes airing it out. Well, that's all well and good until you get into a game like this where that could lead to interceptions. I mean, do you remember how the first 3 quarters went against the Rams last year?
Mm-hmm.
I won't be shocked if that's exactly how this game looks with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep. And if that happens, do you have faith in 2023 Tom Brady that he can lead a comeback like he did against the LA Rams?
You shouldn't.
No. You shouldn't feel good about it. I put up no fight. When you said Tampa Bay at 14, did you hear a peep out of me?
Nope.
I'm right there with you, buddy. We are a god-awful football team that just happened to play in the worst division that's out there.
In NFL history. It's the worst division in NFL history.
Yeah.
We have our first one of these of the day.
I'm your huckleberry.
From Stephen Tout, and this is for you. Why is Stetson Bennett not in the NFL yet? Because mailmen don't deliver on Sundays.
Nice. Very nice.
Actually, now mailmen do deliver on Sundays.
That's right.
Take care of your delivery people.
And they will.
They know stuff about you.
And
just always remember that.
Stetson Bennett. Well, this won't be the last time you hear his name.
I already hate how many times I'm going to get asked that question.
Every day. You're going to get asked that question every day, and it's not just going to be people online or on Twitter. It's going to be right here in these halls because there's one Miami Dolphins fan down the hall that now has it in his head. Stetson Bennett is cut out for the Mike McDaniel system. And then you know what? The more I've thought about it, I don't think sports freak Brian Hall is all that wrong.
You are.
He can come in and he could be just as efficient as Brock Purdy in a system surrounded by talent.
No,
Mm-hmm.
No,
Not better than Brock Purdy?
No,
Yes. And it's not even close.
Oh no, it's very close. And you're forgetting one element of that. His name is Kyle Shanahan. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan did it. I watch a team that does that. No, I don't. Not in any way, actually.
Really?
Nope. I have it on good authority that he was going to get fired had they lost last week.
Really?
Now, what do I agree with that? No, sir, I don't. But some very intelligent people told me, had you lost that game, Mike McDaniel probably would not be employed by the Miami Dolphins right now.
All right. Yeah, no, Rob Johnson said Tampa Bay can't run the ball, can't win in the playoffs like that. I agree.
Nope.
I agree. Don't get me wrong. It's my team. I'm going to pull for them. I hope to God they can pull out the win against Dallas, but I don't like their chances.
I don't think I've ever seen a playoff game before where I'll be rooting for the officials because I cannot stand either one of these teams.
All right, number 14 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and number 13,
the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm happy for you that you got here. I really am, and you're way ahead of the process, and you're going to take a great player at the top of this 2023 draft. And next year, I think you're going to be a formidable team. I also think you are going to get absolutely dog-walked by the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, this could get ugly. I don't think it's going to be as bad as what Dallas does to Tampa Bay, but I could see a path that it's 24-3, and it's never in doubt.
Mm-hmm. I think you're shooting low on that, but okay.
It's just a limited team. Seattle and the next team on this list, they both have the exact same problem.
I meant margin of victory. You're shooting low on the margin of victory.
I don't look for San Francisco to just boat race them, but I think it will be very clear who the better team is.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle and the next team on our list have the same problem. I think you're well coached. I think the system, working within the confines of the system, you got here in a largely stunning fashion. Now you're going up against the best of the best. There's no Houston Texans. There's no Chicago Bears. There's no Denver Broncos. You're getting the best of the best, and they're not limited.
Mm-hmm.
The San Francisco 49ers, the only limitation on that team is in between the ears of Kyle Shanahan's great kazoo head.
Well, you've got the Seattle Seahawks defense that can't stop the run, and that's 80%.
Look, Seattle does some great
offense,
things. Seattle does some great things. They do some very good things defensively, but it's not nearly enough. It's really not nearly enough.
Mm-hmm. Seattle Seahawks at number 13. So you got two NFC teams at the very bottom of the playoff power rankings. We'll continue up next right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Charlotte Highway at Cane Creek Road, traffic is stop and go due to an accident. One travel lane here blocked. Merriman Avenue northbound near Edgewood Road, expect delays. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road, a few light delays. Near Fletcher, Hendersonville Road southbound is slow between the Cane Creek and Butler Bridge Road. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Save big store-wide at the Truckload event at Lowe's, happening now. For a limited time, get up to 50% off select tools and accessories. Shop the event in-store or online today. Valid 12/29 through 1/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details.
I'm Sarah Kustok, NBA analyst for the Brooklyn Nets, and I have a new podcast called NBA Pulse with Sarah Kustok. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll be joined by one of the top NBA writers to discuss their latest stories, features, and up-to-the-minute news.
Rainbow! That, my friends, is Luka Magic!
Check out NBA Pulse with Sarah Kustok on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
hello,
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
You are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
The NFL playoffs are upon us as they all kick off on Saturday, the wild card round. We got 6 games this weekend, and it is a Power Rankings Tuesday here in the Sportsocracy. Coming to you live from the Ingles Studio, and we're ranking all of the 14 playoff teams. Number 12.
The New York Giants. Look, it's awesome for you that you have found a way with Daniel Jones and this cast of misfits to get into the playoffs. But you're just not very good on the outside. And I don't think you can run behind Saquon Barkley and playing good defense and win a game in the playoffs. And now, you did get the first round matchup that dreams are made of, because this Minnesota Viking team is nowhere near as good as people think they are.
Mm-hmm.
But Justin Jefferson's going to be a problem.
But still, despite the fact that you're going up against the Minnesota Vikings, you are a heavy underdog, I would say. The point spread may not be great. I think it's, 6?
I'm not sure it's that high.
I don't even know if it's that high. But
it's 3.
I would imagine this is one of those 93% of the money is going to be on Minnesota.
Ooh, I can answer that. I'll bet you it's not.
Really?
Giants fans are another one. New York fans on the whole, we're one of those low-key, we're really loud and we're really boisterous and we really like airing our displeasure with our teams. We also bet stupid very often, and the Giants haven't been in the playoffs in a long time. You actually had it exactly backwards.
The majority of the money is on New York?
91%. 91% on 52% of tickets.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm not sure I disagree with them.
I do.
I'm not sure I disagree with them.
What do they do better? What do they do better than Minnesota?
I haven't been able to say this in a long time. Run the damn ball! Yeah, they do that really, really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel Jones is multiple. I mean, look, I get it. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I haven't made picks for this week yet. Frankly, I'm one day back off vacation. The fact that I'm sitting in this chair, that's about all you're getting from me today.
Exactly.
So I just, it's another team that's limited in that you don't have the talent that these other high-end teams do.
Yes.
And that's going to come back to bite you in the playoffs. Whether it's this week or not, if you were playing anybody else, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, those were the only 2 teams that they could have played that I think you would have had a shot against. San Francisco would have crushed you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Cowboys would have crushed you. But you made it here, and that is a step in the right direction.
Ooh, we've got breaking news.
We do.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
This is from Adam Schefter. The Washington Commanders have fired Scott Turner. Not the one you wanted.
So close. I mean, he was part of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, that to me, they're a package deal, but okay. I mean, give it a shot.
I'm fine with them bringing back Ron Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
But now if Scott Turner had come back, there would have been a problem.
Right. All right. Good for them.
Yeah, that was necessary. I don't understand why it took 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could have done this at about 8:04 on Sunday night.
Well, you know why? Because they were considering Ron too. I don't think that was ever a consideration.
I really don't. I don't think that was ever a consideration.
I don't understand why not. I really don't. I mean, if you expect to go anywhere, if you're happy being 8-9, 9-8 team, cool. Stick with Ron Rivera. Let's say, I mean, some years you may even go, 7-10. But that's the high side. He's never going to win anything.
There are two entities in sports that I never thought you would cross me in terms of how lowly we felt about them.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Rivera and the Dallas Cowboys, and somehow you've done both in like 96 hours. Yeah, because now you have gone past me on your Ron Rivera's an overrated coach, and you've 100%. Gone past me in the Dallas Cowboys are not a good football team.
I didn't say that. I still like their pieces.
Yeah, you pretty much said that. Pretty much.
Well, I mean, pardon me if we don't. What is it? If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you ain't gonna fool me again. I ain't doing this Dallas thing in the playoffs anymore.
Yeah, outside of 2 years with Tom Brady and one with Brad Johnson, I can say the exact same thing about the team you're telling me is going to be competitive with them.
Yeah. And one of those guys still plays for them, right?
Yeah, but you're way closer to that creamsicle time than you are to prime Tom Brady.
That's right. We're just a couple of months away from being able to see those back on the football field, and we're going to suck right in time for it.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Number 11 in this week's power rankings.
The Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I witnessed this team up close and personal, and I'm going to say as nicely as I can. The Buffalo Bills are going to beat you brainless, and I don't care who plays quarterback. Mike McDaniel came out yesterday and said, well, yeah, Tua might still be blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care if it's Tua. I don't care if it's Skylar Thompson. I don't care if it's Teddy Bridgewater. Hell, Mike McDaniel can go out there and throw a couple passes. I do not care. You're not very good. That line is inconsistent. The defense is fine against bad teams. It's not good against good teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like we're on a collision course for Buffalo, Cincinnati. And all you are is the first impediment to that.
Well, I mean,
as I was walking out of the stadium.
They're not, quote unquote, very good when Tua's on the field, but they are good. They are good-ish.
Mm-hmm.
As proof by,
percent chance Tua Tagovailoa plays this game.
Oh, I think it's very
0.0001.
Right. But you said it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. It obviously does. With Tua Tagovailoa, you've got a shot.
Not against the Buffalo Bills, you don't. Not in Buffalo.
You do. You've already beaten them once, and you played close
in your
with
house.
them twice.
Now you're playing them in Buffalo in January. After what they just went through, they will kill you. They will kill the Miami Dolphins. Give me any way they don't.
Okay, they just played 3 weeks ago in a snowstorm.
And Tua hasn't practiced in 3 weeks. And now you're telling me on 2 days of rest, you're going to go up there in a playoff game with threes all over that field, and you think there is a snowball's chance in Atlanta that they don't get beat by 3 touchdowns? I got a bridge to sell you.
Mm-hmm.
They will house the team I just saw. And I got news for you. I watched basically all 22 at the 50-yard line for 60 minutes. That team will get dogged by the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who your quarterback is. You bring back Dan Marino from 1994. I do not care.
Well, now that's just absurd.
They will crush you.
Dan could lace it up right now and beat the Buffalo Bills with his eyes closed. Come on.
Yeah, I saw Dan, not up close and personal, but I saw him because he was on the sidelines.
Yeah, we saw it.
No, he couldn't. Yeah, I watched him walk out on the field. Trust me. No, he could not.
Yeah, there's a little slow man walk going on with Dan Marino.
The gait cycle has slowed down for Mr. Marino.
Trust me, we got a better view of him than you did on television because they showed him a bunch. Because Dan Marino was the last guy to win a playoff game for the Miami Dolphins. That came up about 800 times.
Yeah, they kept showing him on the video board, and every time they would show him, it was almost like, I have to show that I can still move. And he would walk. Yeah, that team's not good.
Yeah.
The team is not good.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised you didn't have them lower on this list.
I could not have them below the other three just because you have offensive weapons that those three don't.
Mm-hmm. At number 10.
This one was difficult for me. The Baltimore Ravens.
Oh.
Yeah, I changed my mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, you changed up your power rankings since I wrote them down, because that's now the second one that's been a surprise to me.
Yeah. Well, I've changed my mind as I've thought about it, because I can't say what I just said about the Miami Dolphins and then not say it about Lamar, who hasn't practiced in a month.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going into Cincinnati, a team that I've already said I feel like is on a collision course for the Buffalo Bills. And you got a quarterback that hadn't practiced in 28 days or something like that. And the defense is, while the defense is better, you're just so inconsistent offensively. Stephen Tao asked me if I just flipped a coin. No, I'm looking at the team I had, and I can't believe I put them behind Baltimore the first time I did this.
Yeah,
I'm also looking at the matchups now more.
See this team be healthy. I would really love to see what a Baltimore Ravens team could be if they're 100% healthy and could make it through an entire season. I think it would.
All right, they were 100% healthy against Cincinnati Bengals. You taking them plus 7? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not. 100% healthy. You tell me everybody, the genie from Aladdin comes along and grants them the wish of everyone's in perfect health. All right, who's going to stop Jamar Chase? Because whoever you say, the other one gets T. Higgins.
Right.
And I'm good. Yeah, I'm going to pass.
Right.
That's the other part of this where I'm audibling this as I go, is now I'm looking at the matchups going, okay, and I feel like a lot of these teams are close. If there's a tiebreaker, and that tiebreaker is who do you play this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that team that I've already said I think is going to absolutely pounce you. All right, we're going to knock you down a couple points.
Right. We just saw it this past weekend. Now put actual real big boy playoff winner go home implications on this game. It ain't going to be pretty.
Nathaniel McWhird in our YouTube comment said the Ravens beat the Bengals the first time around. That
was a long
time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Dallas Cowboys the first time around. That was 4.5 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Tao, he says Tank Baltimore's only healthy for 3 weeks. I know.
And I can't figure out why that is.
I don't know.
I mean, I have some theories, but it's just weird that the same teams seem to be absolutely killed injury-wise every single year.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. It's time to get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, here's another story out of North Carolina. It's very weird to me. It's never a good situation when you see a kid make a decision that could cost him his life. And that's what happened to this one Carrie mother who had to and has had to stand by her son in his recovery after he mistakenly thought he was eating candy and it turned out to be something else. This is just a warning for all parents that you need to make sure that when your kid might be eating some candy, if the package looks a little off and you've never heard of it, you might want to look into what they're getting ready to put into their body. this caring mom, like I said, has had to stand by and watch her son fight for his life after the 9-year-old grabbed a packet of candy, thought it was Pop Rocks, ripped the bag open, poured it in his mouth. Not Pop Rocks. Looks exactly like a Pop Rocks bag. It's got that little paper bag. It's all colorful on the outside, but it's actually called Lucky's Mystical Dragon Flames. This is the stuff that you could put in your fireplace to make the fire turn different colors.
Oh, no.
Yeah, bad news. Obviously, this mom was not happy to see Connor do that. He was obviously chemically poisoned. He had to go to the hospital. He has made a full recovery, and they're just and now the call is on for more child tamper proof packaging and all this kind of stuff. Look, just be a little more attentive. If you have stuff like that around the house, make sure it's put away where the kids can't get a hold of it.
My story is from Hobart, Australia. This taught me something that I didn't actually know. Kirsten Lynch, she just got a new puppy. His name's Gecko. And as you do with your puppy, you got to let him outside to make their peas and poos.
Gecko the puppy. I like that.
So she let Gecko out the front door. Apparently there's an electronic fence around the yard, so she left the door open.
Okay.
Gecko goes to piddle. Apparently she also went to piddle. Comes back into the living room, sees the dog has a toy that's laying in the middle of the living room. So she goes to pick it up, and then the toy darted underneath the couch.
Never a good sign.
Yep, because it wasn't a toy. It was a Tasmanian devil.
Whoa!
Which I did not actually know was a real critter.
Yes.
I had absolutely no idea. I thought Taz was a made-up thing.
No, sir.
Have you ever seen one of these?
Yes.
It kind of looks like a weasel.
Mm-hmm. But
apparently they get very angry when they're threatened. I guess that's where Taz came from.
It's like an African badger.
It's an interesting looking. I mean, I once said that all dogs look like dogs. This is a varmint. The Tasmanian devil is officially in the varmint family.
Yes, absolutely.
So it darts under the couch. She screams. Everybody in the house goes, "Ooh, what just happened?" She didn't actually know what it was. So she knew something had run under the couch. She thought it was a rat. So her husband gets a broom and has to eschew this thing out the front door. Do you know how angry these little things get? They could apparently be very dangerous to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't know that when he escorted it with the broom. They had to Google what it was. They then found out, that could have ended much worse than it did. Thankfully, everyone, including Gecko, is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I today learned that a Tasmanian devil is not a made-up critter.
It's not just a cartoon character made up by Warner Brothers.
If you had come in here one day and said, I had a Tasmanian devil in my house, I would have gone, I had a unicorn in mine. Because that's not a real thing.
Yes, it 100% is, Jeremy.
And it's very weaselly looking.
You know what? I'm going to use this line. You've used this line on me a couple of times. I'm going to use it on you. You should learn a book.
Learn a book.
It's the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. The power rankings continue for Wild Card Weekend.
Sorry, I'm not versed on weasels.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable numbers for the midweek forecast, and we head uphill with south winds into the Thursday forecast. Our next weather maker comes in Thursday night. Some rain showers Thursday afternoon, turning colder for Friday and the weekend. Could see some light snows for the top of the weekend. 32 our low tonight. Wednesday partly cloudy, high 55. Half-inch rains Thursday afternoon, high 60. And some light rain or light snow Friday, high 38. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 eastbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Long Shoals Road. Near Fletcher, Charlotte Highway at Cane Creek Road, an accident. One lane is closed. Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road. Traffic is very busy. Hendersonville Road southbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound again slow between the Cane Creek and Butler Bridge Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. And Merriman Avenue northbound near Edgewood Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by SRGExpress.com. Use the experts on hiring for accounting roles. Visit SRGExpress.com to connect with the accounting workforce pros. The specialized recruiting group takes an individual approach, placing people in contract and full-time roles. SRGExpress.com.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. We'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
Welcome back into a Power Rankings Tuesday here on ESPN Asheville. Yep, we're doing the 14 playoff teams, and that's it. So, back into it here. The worst playoff teams, if you're just joining us, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 14. Seattle.
I actually wanted to put them at 17, but I couldn't leave
that.
2 empty spots.
Couldn't do that. Seattle Seahawks at 13. You got the Giants at 12. Dolphins at 11. The Baltimore Ravens at 10. And at number 9,
the Minnesota Vikings.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the only team to have 12 wins in NFL history that has a negative point differential on the season.
Them and the Giants is going to be a really interesting game to me. Because I don't really buy either of these teams, but somebody has to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into the next round and just get most likely slaughtered by whoever you play.
Right. I give the Vikings the go-ahead in this one because, I mean, they have the best offense.
Well, I mean, most likely they would play – if they advance, they play San Francisco in the second round.
Scattered, smothered, and covered.
Killed.
Yeah.
I mean, just annihilated. And so I can't have them any higher. I know that leaves 2 teams that a lot of people would go, wait a minute, they won 12 games and you have those to it? Yeah, I do.
Because you're not always what your record says you are.
And they're not. I mean, you look down what this team has done. First of all, you have won more one-possession games than any team in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
You're really lucky to be here.
No, 11 of them.
11.
Yeah.
11 of your 12 wins were one-possession games. So I don't buy this team much. It's Kevin O'Connell's first time in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins in prime time. How many narratives do you need for me to just, okay, I don't. That's the one game I'm looking at going, that is prime nap season. That 4:30 window on Sunday is looking like a great chance for Jeremy to get some shut-eye before Ravens-Bengals.
Yeah. Absolutely. Minnesota Vikings in at number 9. Number 8.
8 and 7 are the same team. And it's ironic because they play each other. The Los Angeles Chargers.
And number 7?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, okay. So this is the game everybody's going to be keyed in on. I think this is the closest of the games.
Even. The spread is it's pick 'em.
And the Chargers are at the Jaguars. Brandon Staley obviously making the decision to play the starters this past week in a game that really didn't matter, and he ended up getting Mike Williams hurt. Oh, and Joey Bosa as well.
Yeah, and I thought there was a possibility you were going to get Rashawn Slater back for this game. They did open up the 21-day practice window. He is not going to play in this game. If they advance, he would be available. And if I knew he was there, it kind of changes how I feel about this team. I still don't think they can beat the big 3 in the AFC.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not sure that they can beat Jacksonville in Duval. That place is going to be nanners. Imagine a stadium with 65,000 of me. That's what Jacksonville will be. And they have had no hope forever.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got the quarterback. And I know we said this, or I said this yesterday about the Cowboys. I feel like you needed that game with Tennessee. We thought they were just going to boat race the Titans. That gives you a really good ability to look at a young team and go, don't believe the press clippings. All right, I know that the media's gotten very high on us. Don't fall into the trap. This Charger team can beat you. And it wouldn't shock me in the least if they do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think either of these teams can beat one of the big 3 in the AFC. But I think they can both put up a game against any of them.
And it'll be a hell of a game between the two of them. It'll all come down to turnovers.
It's the most interesting game of the weekend to me.
Can Trevor Lawrence learn some ball security? Jeremy needs to learn books. Trevor Lawrence needs to learn ball security.
Well, you've got 2 quarterbacks here that have a proclivity to turn the ball over. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's the only stat I really care about. I think if you told me who wins the turnover battle, I'll tell you who wins this game.
Mm-hmm.
They've both been gashed defensively at times. They both have pretty prolific offenses. I think they're the exact same team. The difference for me, in Jacksonville, I have a coach that won a Super Bowl. In L.A., I have a coach that I thought could be fired 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. I think at this point, the Jacksonville Jaguars might be they're the healthier team of the two, but I still have a lot of faith in the Chargers as the better team in this scenario. Do you disagree?
No. This all falls on coaching for me. That's the one big difference. Other than that, I look at them largely similarly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got one more team before you get into the real Super Bowl contenders.
Number 6.
The Dallas Cowboys. I can't believe I have them this high. And it's not so much that I believe in them.
No.
It's just I think there's such a divide between the top 5 and everybody else.
Yeah. I would agree.
I think you're going to have 2 of the best conference championship games ever. And one of those teams gets left out. And then there is a Grand Canyon between those 5 and 6. I just look at Dallas and go, you have the talent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in Mike McCarthy. I don't really believe in this coaching staff. I don't think your defense is as good as everybody thinks. And yet I'm seeing a path that you could ultimately get Philadelphia, and I'm not so sure that you couldn't beat them.
Really?
Anytime we think something is guaranteed to happen, it almost never does.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got scooped into the Horny Toads last night. And I'm just looking at this going, we felt like this was Philadelphia, San Francisco, Kansas City, and whoever wins between Buffalo and Cincinnati. We felt that way since that Bills-Bengals game was officially canceled.
Yes.
It almost never happens that way. When it's this much of a foregone conclusion. And so the way I got to Dallas here is, okay, if somebody upsets that apple cart, who's it going to be? I cannot see it being any other team that we have said up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something about Dallas that I almost feel like the public narrative has done exactly what you're doing. Well, they always just let us down in the playoffs.
Yep.
And you use a coaching staff that all have higher aspirations, whether it's Dan Quinn, Kellen Moore, and this is the rallying cry. But nobody believes in you. Don't believe the press, and there are no press clippings.
Sure, and that's great, and that's great. We're all in a must-win situation because I'm here to tell you, I fully believe if Mike McCarthy loses to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
he'll be
done.
fired.
He's done. He's gone.
And they'll either chase Sean Payton, I don't know what they would do from there. Promote Dan Quinn,
Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh. I don't think you can stay within staff to serve the purpose that Jerry Jones is going to want to serve should that happen. But that's a bridge we'll cross if we get to it.
Well, and that's another. If you read tea leaves, Sean Payton allegedly is leaning towards staying in television. Wonder what could possibly change that. Maybe if that Cowboy job opened, that would be.
Exactly. Could Dallas pull some kind of an upset in the playoffs? I won't be too terribly surprised about it, but it's going to be the way they do it. Like if Dak Prescott comes out, has a flawless game, that will surprise the hell out of me. Will it be shocking to me if they're really close with somebody and Micah Parsons or Trayvon Diggs comes up with the key turnover or whatever to flip that game in the end? No, that's not really going to surprise me at all that much.
Where I'm at is I think they're going to smoke your Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
And in the next round, I could see a path where it's just a sloppy, ugly game. And the wheels come off with Jalen Hurts because that offense it's dynamic and it's very good. But I also hearken back to the one other time I've seen Jalen Hurts in the playoffs, and he didn't look like he belonged in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to hold it against Dak, you have to hold it against Jalen Hurts too. And that's just where I got. This is the one team I could see upsetting the apple cart.
Yeah, but at least there's a season for us to go back and go, there's one quarterback that made a leap this year. The other quarterback, Dak Prescott, did not and looked horrible the last time we saw him on the field. To me, that's telling. But what do I know? I'm just a little old radio host here in Asheville, North Carolina. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We continue the wild card weekend power rankings next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and US 1923 exit 4A. Light delays 26 westbound between Long Shoals Road and Bavard Road. In the Fairview area, Charlotte Highway at Cane Creek Road, an accident has one travel lane closed. Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road, expect delays. Sweeten Creek Road southbound is slow approaching Mills Gap Road. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Cane Creek and Butler Bridge Road. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by SRGExpress.com. Use the experts on hiring for accounting roles. Visit SRGExpress.com to connect with the accounting workforce pros. The specialized recruiting group takes an individual approach, placing people in contract and full-time roles. SRGExpress.com.
Shop limited-time deals at the Truckload event at Lowe's, happening now. Save big on your favorites across the store. During this event, get up to 50% off select tools and accessories. Plus, find the perfect floor tile for your home for less. Get up to 50% off select styles while you can. Head to your local Lowe's store or visit Lowes.com to shop the Truckload event today. Valid 12/29 to 1/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowes.com for details. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $38.99. Go farther with better fuel efficiency. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Only the free iHeartRadio app gives you access to everything you love, from the stations that keep you company, the music that keeps you singing along, podcasts that keep you entertained. Not to mention chances to win cash and once-in-a-lifetime artist experiences only on the app. And it's always 100% free. Only iHeartRadio gives you access to the music, radio, and podcasts you love. Download it for free in the App Store.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
At Ingles, we know the ever-present struggle of, what am I going to make for dinner this week? That's why we started the Ingles Table. It's a website that brings the best chefs and food experts right into your kitchen. You can sort through hundreds of recipes for every occasion, watch how-to videos, and print shopping lists to take to the store. It's all waiting for you at ingles-markets.com. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, a Power Rankings Tuesday, as we are breaking down the rankings for all of the 14 playoff teams in the NFL. And all the action will kick off this weekend. And the question was asked by Michael Meadows, who was the winner of our DraftKings contest, our battle for the belt. He's going to come pick up the belt tomorrow. And so, Jeremy, you have to say your final goodbyes tonight. It's so sad.
I'm gonna miss Belty.
He's so upset.
Such a good belt.
So upset.
I love it so much.
He won the DraftKings contest. He asked, does anybody know how the consolation tournament went?
Tank won it.
Yeah!
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't talk about it, because Tank won it. Which still one of the most mind-boggling things I've ever seen. I'm not going to lie. I pulled up the standings and I went, that can't be right.
Yep.
DraftKings is drunk.
Yep. No, I was the best of the worst, so.
You weren't the best of the worst. You were the best of the ones that just narrowly missed the finals.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyhow. That spawned an idea. Since Tank won the consolation bracket, we're not going to give him the swag bag out of the new merch store.
Unfortunately. So
we came up with another idea. If you missed Battle for the Belt, if you just enjoyed it and you want to keep playing, we're going to do a playoff-long DraftKings contest for charity.
Yes.
We like charity. We're
do.
big on it. So there will be a donation. You don't have to donate. It would be nice.
We know you will.
You always do.
We know you will. I mean, we've got a wonderful we've got a wonderful letter hanging on the wall behind my head. If I move on the camera, I think you can see it. But Beth Russo, the executive director for Eblin Charities, wrote us a very wonderful letter thanking us for our efforts and to help out with the St. Nicholas project, the Eblin Charity St. Nicholas project. We gave $2,500 from the Battle for the Belt.
It was so nice. I came back from vacation and had a slew of lovely letters of people thanking us for things.
Right.
I need to go on vacation more.
So the idea here is that we are going to do this DraftKings contest. There will be a donation of some kind that we will recommend, and that will go to the Damar Hamlin Toy Drive.
Correct.
The Chasing M's Foundation.
Correct. So and that will be a playoff-long thing. We'll keep the standings. That just gives us a reason. If you're like me and your team didn't make the playoffs, that gives you a reason to watch. So those will be going out. I'll be posting the link on that hopefully tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I keep wanting to say week, but it's Wild Card Week. Power Rankings.
Playoff football.
Here in the Sportsocracy, we have given you the bottom feeders, I guess you can call them, of the playoffs so far, 6 through 14. It goes Dallas Cowboys, Jacksonville Jaguars, Los Angeles Chargers, Minnesota Vikings, Baltimore Ravens. 11 is the Miami Dolphins, New York Giants, Seattle Seahawks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 5 teams left, and these are the big dogs. These are the ones that have a real shot to take home the Lombardi Trophy this year.
And after the daily draft, we will tell you who those 5 teams are, in what order, and why they will or will not
hoist a Lombardi Trophy.
Daily draft after the Sports Center update. We will be trying to pick who's going to be the 2023 TCU, that surprise playoff team.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable numbers for the midweek forecast, and we head uphill with south winds into the Thursday forecast. Our next weather maker comes in Thursday night. Some rain showers Thursday afternoon, turning colder for Friday and the weekend. Could see some light snows for the top of the weekend. 32 our low tonight. Wednesday partly cloudy, high 55. Half-inch rains Thursday afternoon, high 60. And some light rain or light snow Friday, high 38. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and US 1923 exit 4A. Light delays 26 westbound between Long Shoals Road and Bavard Road. In the Fairview area, Charlotte Highway at Cane Creek Road, an accident has one travel lane closed. Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road, expect delays. Sweden Creek Road southbound is slow approaching Mills Gap Road. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Cane Creek and Butler Bridge Road. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in two bold flavors, Chipotle Ranch and Salsa Verde. They're bursting with grilled chicken and delicious sauces. Get your $2 grilled chicken burrito at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
First Restoration Services has been responding 24/7 to property damage from water, fire, and storm damage since 1987. If you have a disaster on your property, there's only one company to call first. First Restoration Services of Asheville, 684-1582.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Maybe the third time's a charm for Carlos Correa. He and the Twins finalizing a 6-year, $200 million contract, reports ESPN's Jeff Passan. Has a vesting option that can max out at $270 million and is pending a physical. Correa failed to finalize agreements with the Giants and Mets over concerns about his surgically repaired right leg. Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy's job status will not hinge on the outcome of the NFC wildcard game against the Buccaneers. That today from team owner Jerry Jones. He told 103.5 The Fan, McCarthy's job status will not be impacted should Dallas lose. Added he's got a lot more to evaluate his coach on than this playoff game. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
I want Jerry to understand the type of pressure that he puts on a coach. And obviously that exists in Dallas. But Mike McCarthy is being unfairly talked about his job here again for the second year in a row. And the starting quarterback missed 4 games this year, and he's won 12 games.
NBA Warriors point guard Steph Curry returns tonight from a shoulder injury and will start against the Suns.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time your car breaks down, don't call it quits. Head to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Cash. That's cash. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400, coming to you live as always inside the Ingles Studio. And we are heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Get in on the comments by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Don't know where to find us? Just go to the youtube.com/thesportsocracy or go to thesportsocracy.com and click on the live video link. You subscribe, you get into the chat, we talk about your comments here on the show. It's as easy as pie. And who knows? Colin or Colin or maybe another Colin will come up and give more subscriptions to the channel, and you can get your House of Reprehensibles membership absolutely free. Or you could, dig deep and show us a little support. Just
the low price of $2.99.
That's right, $2.99 a month. Show your support for the Sportsocracy by joining the House of Reprehensibles. You get the little beer mug next to your name in the chat. And, of course, you will be in our Discord chat and all hours access to just what we're thinking, what we're burning on the issues 24/7. Now, we are putting a pin in the power rankings here so we get into the actual real deal Super Bowl
contenders. The 5 contenders that can win a Super Bowl.
Exactly. To do the daily draft. And today's daily draft is, taking a page out of or taking the play off of last night's embarrassment of a national championship game with the Georgia Bulldogs boat race the Texas Christian Horned Frogs 65-7. We didn't expect TCU was going to be this team. Nobody did. They were picked 7th in their conference at the preseason, and they were what was it, like plus 50,000 or something to.
They were plus 5,000, I think.
Plus 5,000 to make the college football playoff or to win the national championship.
Might have been more than that.
I think it was more than that.
Might have been 50,000.
I think it was a lot. Whatever it was.
For reference, if it was 50,000, the teams in that tier this year are Missouri, Georgia Tech, Duke. Yeah, we will not be picking any of those teams.
That sounds about right. But today's daily draft is who could be next year's TCU, that surprise team to sneak into the Final Four. We believe pretty much, across the board, Georgia, Alabama,
Vegas
Michigan.
has 4 teams that are under plus 1,000. Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Who could upset that apple cart? I have the number 1 pick, and, it's ironic. There's a button on that board that I think would pander into my selection. It's time. We have returned. Something is happening in Tallahassee. Baby! It is the number 1 team in America for returning players off your final 2 deep. There is no team in college football that returns more. And they've had the best transfer class in America by a lot. And if you look at what Colorado did, that should tell you just how much talent they actually added. Top 2 tight ends in the transfer portal, both going to Florida State. 2 edge guys. Jared Verse comes back. Look, you can call me a homer all you want to. I said this exact same thing about USC last year. If you want to know how to become very good very quickly, it's the transfer portal. That's how TCU got here. They added a lot of players that they knew exactly what they were getting. And if you look around the ACC next year, you were talking about schedules. If you want to be in this mix, coming out of not the SEC, not the Big Ten, what do you have to have? That 1 signature win. Who's Florida State get to start the season?
Who?
LSU.
Okay.
Neutral field, Camping World Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably good enough. You win that game, you run through the ACC, and I got news for you. Virtually every team in the ACC is down. Clemson loses a ton. Front 7, they got 5 guys that'll go in the first 2 days of the draft. So that defense is not going to look – now, we don't know when that game is. I have a funny feeling it will be early in the schedule. Yeah, it's in Clemson. But if you look at it, there's not really other games that you think this team could lose, barring health and things like that.
Absolutely.
You return a Heisman Trophy hopeful in Jordan Travis, who was phenomenal at the end of last year. I don't think there's another answer. I think everything else would be not necessarily grasping at straws, but when I saw the odds, I immediately went all in.
Yep. As to you're saying as to who could break into the top 4.
I think they can win a national title. I really do. I think they can win a national title because this is a weird year. You're seeing a lot of veteran quarterbacks leaving college football.
Yep.
On premier programs where you're just – and you did it earlier. they'll just figure it out. Well, that doesn't always work that way. I said the same thing about Clemson. Look how that ended. And look, I understand there's a difference between Kirby Smart and Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney. I get it.
Well, I mean, at some point the run had to come to an end, right? At some point you had to get that wrong because you went from generational quarterback to generational quarterback. You went Taj Boyd to Deshaun Watson to Trevor Lawrence. Like at some point you were going to get that wrong.
And that's where I'm at. I'm looking at the quarterback situations at Georgia, at Alabama, at Ohio State. I'm looking at the coaching situation at Michigan. We're just treating this like it's the foregone conclusion that it was last year. It's not. It's not. And I would say I'm looking at the fact that Florida State's behind Clemson, and I audibly laughed out loud when I saw that. Because to me, Clemson is foolish money. You have a lot of variables at play there. And so I get a team that returns a lot, gets its toughest game early against a program that I think will be good, and that win will look really good at the end of the year.
Okay. Not a bad pick by you, Florida State. Obviously, they are – I don't disagree with the whole top 5 thing. When you return that kind of talent coming off the best year that Mike Norvell's had, you got this team buying in. You got guys that are just flipping the bird basically to the NFL draft when they're a shoe-in to be a high pick like Jared Verse. There's something going on in Tallahassee. I think one's a little crazy, but you do you. Now, my first pick for who could be next year's surprise entrant into the college football playoff, I'm going to go with Texas. I got to go with Texas. They got Quinn Ewers coming back. Of course, Arch Manning comes in. They're going to have a lot of playmakers. They don't have Bijan Robinson. The other running back, Thompson, I think is his last name. He's going as well.
He'll be at the Senior Bowl.
Right. He's going to be gone as well. So the two-headed monster they have at running back, they're going to have to find a solution for that. But Texas always finds running backs, right?
They've had a lot of them, yes.
Right. So, I mean, it's another one of those things of can Steve Sarkisian and company in another year with this quarterback battle that's going to happen between, 2 years ago, number 1 recruit, and this year's number 1 or number 2 recruit, and Arch Manning battling it out. I mean, think of how things went this year for Texas.
I could easily see a path that Quinn Ewers is fantastic this year, keeps Arch Manning on the bench.
Maybe.
And then next year you're looking at a draft class with Drake May, Caleb Williams, and Quinn Ewers.
But
which is why, by the way, if you're a Panther fan, I wouldn't necessarily be in a rush to shoehorn yourself into a quarterback.
Exactly. But I was going to say, if next year goes like this year went, where you got an injury to the quarterback, guess what? We could just bring Arch Manning in.
Yeah, you're not going Hudson Card this year.
Exactly. So I think Texas has a shot. They've got all their top receivers coming back next year. Most of the offensive line is returning, so the offense is going to be fine.
The question is, can you respond with the defense? Because they lose a lot.
Yeah, but the
DeMarvion Overshow and Tavondre Sweat.
Yeah, the defense wasn't bad this year. Obviously, you have to replace players, but they're Texas. I feel like they will most certainly do that. So Texas is my number 1 to possibly go upset the apple cart in the college football playoff. Then I got to go with another purple team. It's the Washington Huskies out of the Pac-12. It's ultimately a winnable conference. I know we believe in Oregon. Some believe in Oregon. Some believe in Utah. Obviously, there's a lot of hope for USC out there. But, I mean, USC did disappoint at the end of this year. Washington had a hell of a year.
Anybody.
Right. Washington had a hell of a year under Kalen DeBoer. Michael Penix returns next year. He was awesome this year, throwing for over 4,600 yards and 40 touchdowns. They're a team that could pop up out of the Pac-12 and maybe be relevant on the national stage. You only got to win one or two big games.
There are 4 teams in the Pac-12 that I think will be – the Pac-12 will be better next year than it was this year. So I could easily see a Pac-12 team making it. Now, you took one that I wasn't after.
Okay.
I'm actually going to get my 1, my 2, and my 3 because my second pick is that quack Oregon Ducks team with Bo Nix coming back because I have a very veteran quarterback. I have a defense. I'm not telling you it's great. It's better than what USC has.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than what UCLA has. It's better-ish than what Washington has.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Washington is the average version of a lot of pieces that you see from different teams in the Pac-12. And you got to remember you got Colorado that will be, well, they can't possibly be as bad as they were last year.
Right.
I could see a path that a Pac-12 team gets in because they have 6 ranked in the final poll.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look at all of that, and then you get into this. All right, let's say it goes the same way it went this year. Michigan and Ohio State are both in the top 4. They play each other last week of the season. Loser is now on the outside for the conference championship game.
Right.
And now you're trying to judge that one loss against an undefeated Pac-12 team. I think they would lose.
Is next year the year they're getting rid of division?
Yes.
Okay, so they won't be left out of the conference championship.
Possibly. You got to remember there's another team that wears blue and white that is pretty formidable too.
There is, and no.
I'm not taking them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not who I'm taking. I mean, if you leave them for me on the in the last 2 picks, then maybe.
Then maybe.
But I mean, you'll notice the theme with every team that I take here.
Mm-hmm.
They all return a lot.
Yep.
They're all very senior laden.
The thing that concerns me about Oregon is almost the entire offensive line will be gone. And so, I mean, Oregon is one of those programs that's pretty good on offensive line recruiting. They always seem to find a good class to come in afterwards, but I think they're losing 4 out of the 5 starters from this year.
And I got that. It's just playing in that wide open. A lot of these. Name me the best pass rusher in that conference. There's not one.
That's a good point.
So I feel like you're going to go through a few games early in the season where you can figure those things out. And I've got a veteran quarterback that's going to make quick decisions in that offense with the thing that scares me the most is losing Kenny Dillingham.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that gives me a little pause. But I feel pretty good that team's going to be pretty talented next year. Now, I have another team that it's commercial time. So I already know where I'm going. So this time I'm not making a decision. But after the break, I'll tell you who that third team is.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Heavy traffic volume 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and US 1923 exit 4A. 26 eastbound stop and go between Bavard Road and Long Shoals Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound is stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road near Fletcher. Hendersonville Road southbound. Heavy delays between the Cane Creek and Butler Bridge Road. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road. Light delays. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zack with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's going to take a lot of icing for TCU to get over what just happened to them at SoFi Stadium last night in the national championship game. 65-7, 58-point blowout win, the largest win margin of victory in any bowl game in the history of college football, as number 1 Georgia repeats as national champions. Today's daily draft focused on who could be the team that gets scattered, smothered, and covered by Georgia next year in the national championship game. Who?
I'm not ready.
Comes slightly before the fall.
I am not ready for 9 more months of this.
Who could be the team to upset the apple cart and be the surprise team in the college football playoff next year? Jeremy started out with his Florida State Seminoles. I went Texas and Washington. Then he goes Oregon. And your third choice?
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah, sorry. You missed me with that. I know they're getting Sam Hartman, but it's still Notre Dame.
What was the biggest problem with that team this year? Quarterback. The defense is talented. You can't watch that tape. You can't go back and watch the Clemson tape and realize that they just physically eviscerated Clemson for 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to look at that. I mean, yeah, I know they lose Isaiah Foskey, but that's a talented defense. And now you're not only did you fix the quarterback position, you fixed it with a 6th-year starter. I don't know that you could have put a better player in this offense. And you look at the schedule, you get a lot of these at home, A. B, you play enough teams that, I mean, if they get through the schedule 12-0, you're going to look at Notre Dame and go, you have to let them in.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might get in 11-1 if that one loss was to USC.
But the question is, can they beat Michigan? Can they beat USC? Can they?
I think I firmly believe Marcus Freeman is a really good coach, and the job he did last year is enough for me to go, there's a chance. There's a chance. You mix in Hartman, who will be the best quarterback that's played at Notre Dame, probably since Brady Quinn.
Yeah.
I mean, that says a lot. It's a team that's been to a national title since then. And, look, Notre Dame always gets the benefit of the doubt. And I do not see a way that they're worse than 10-2. And I think they will be better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm looking at USC going, I don't see a lot of fixes to that defense. Alex Grinch, I really like him. But, man, is there anybody on this planet that has gotten more credit for really nothing that's not a meteorologist?
Well, if they're 10-2, they're not getting in. I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. I think that's their floor.
Oh, okay.
I think the worst case scenario is you go 10-2
until they lose to Marshall.
And see, they lost to Marshall because they didn't have a quarterback.
Right.
So you fixed the one problem.
Okay. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Jeremy's third selection in who could be the 2023 TCU to upset the apple cart in the college football playoff. Started with Texas. I went Washington. You know, it was tough for me doing this because, I mean, there are several SEC teams that I think they're on the rise, but I can't see you getting past Alabama and Georgia. And I don't know. I kind of feel
I can. And I have an SEC team left, just so you know.
I kind of feel the same way about Big Ten teams, but Jim Harbaugh leaves Michigan. Maybe there's a window opens. Maybe you get lucky against Ohio State late in the season, and the Penn State Nittany Lions are going to be able to bring the defense next year. You know, and I really don't think that they're going to miss their quarterback play too much. I mean,
Sean Clifford was a vet quarterback. That's the reason I wasn't taking Penn State.
Well, I don't know.
I have a Big Ten team.
I don't know who it is.
Penn State.
I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. All I know is you can throw a competent offense out there.
Well, the thing
play
that worries
good defense, and you got a chance.
The thing that worries me is that Penn State let Will Levis walk out the door. That's really unsettling to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know transfer. I get all of that. You looked at Sean Clifford when he didn't have the starts under his belt and went, we're going to do that instead of play Will Levis. And I can't really recover from that. I'll use the same scenario.
Is that why Will Levis left?
Will Levis left because he was the 2. And I do not see how anybody watched those 2 arm talents and went, yeah, we're going to go with Sean Clifford.
Right.
This gives us a better chance to win.
Right.
Okay, then.
I think Penn State's going to have a shot. If there's going to be an SEC team.
Don't you do it.
If there's going to be an SEC team.
Don't you do it.
And I don't know how they're going to do it. But this is a little bit of blind faith, and I know it's going to sound weird coming from a guy wearing red and black. But it's the Tennessee Volunteers.
Yeah, I get my top 5.
There you go. It could be the Tennessee Volunteers. Look, I think Josh Heupel has changed things for the Volunteers. There will be no Hendon Hooker, obviously. There will be no Jalen Hyatt. There will be no Cedric Tillman. So you're going to have to find replacements for these important offensive weapons. We saw down the stretch of the season the defense wasn't that great. Look, they're the next best thing to Georgia in the SEC East.
Tennessee would have been my 6. Just throwing that out there.
Right. Joe Milton, I'm not a believer.
You should be.
I wasn't a believer when he was at Michigan. I'm not a believer now that he was the backup this year to Hendon Hooker at Tennessee.
And I think you're holding the Michigan thing against him.
No, maybe.
He did not fit that system.
Maybe.
He fits this system.
Nicholas Iamaleava, he could be the one. He's the big NIL get that Tennessee is bringing in at quarterback. He's like the number 6, I think I read today. He's the number 6 pocket passer in this upcoming class of quarterbacks.
He's a very good quarterback.
Very good out of California. He could be the next the next big quarterback for Tennessee. So I'm put Tennessee on the list of teams that could possibly do it. I got them this low on the list because I don't really think anybody else is coming out of the SEC other than Alabama and Georgia.
Ironic, because I do. Think there is a possibility that an SEC team comes out that's not Georgia or Alabama. And you said it was going to sound weird for you to say Tennessee wearing a Georgia shirt. What I'm getting ready to say is going to sound very weird as a lifelong Florida State fan because my number 4 pick is Texas A&M.
Huh. Didn't see that coming.
Tell me how talented that team is. In terms of talent, you never had a problem.
No, they're super talented.
What was the problem? Jimbo Fisher couldn't get out of his own way. Who'd he just hire? Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino made an offense work at Missouri State. And he has been good offensively everywhere he has been. And he wants another shot to be a head guy. Texas A&M, I'm not going to lie to you. Texas A&M's plus 6,000. I have a little side wager on A&M.
Okay.
It's not a huge one, but at 60 to 1, I'd throw a bill at it.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I should have had Texas A&M higher than this. It's my sheer unabashed hatred for Jimbo Fisher and the fact that I don't think he's a very good coach. But then it kind of mitigates it when I know Bobby Petrino is going to be the one calling the offense. I've never had a problem with Jimbo's intellect. I have a problem with him as an in-game coach. And now you just took that completely away.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me think that's probably, I would say, one of the best 2 or 3 values on the board because they are so low, because last year went so poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other thing. You can't be that bad at quarterback again. It's not physically possible.
Right.
If you have a living, breathing quarterback under center, you will not be as bad as you were last year. Now, the other one, I'm prognosticating a bit because Penn State loses their quarterback, Ohio State loses their quarterback, and I think Jim Harbaugh is going to end up with the Denver Broncos. I've heard that a lot today, and it seems to be gaining a lot of momentum. There is a school that has always found a way to make 3-star guys work, and they have a slew of them. And now you have a coach that I think is a really good coach. It's the Wisconsin Badgers. I see a path that they win this conference. You have a quarterback now. You actually have 2 of them. You've gotten 2 out of the transfer portal. And it's not Graham Mertz. I'm going to say the same thing about Wisconsin that I just said about Texas A&M. You almost cannot be as bad offensively as you were last year. It's borderline impossible. The defense was already good. And you look at everybody there is a path that every team in front of you in the Big Ten regresses.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have a high-end coach in Luke Fickell that is working with better talent than he has ever had before. Stranger things have happened.
Okay. Taking the Wisconsin Badgers. Interesting. There's a connection between your final pick and my final pick. Because Luke Fickell hired the guy that I think is going to serve the North Carolina Tar Heels the best by leaving, and that's Phil Longo. And now you got the North Carolina Tar Heels with the second year of Drake May. I know Josh Downs is not going to be there, and there's a whole lot to replace. But
the entire secondary.
But let's be honest, the secondary wasn't good anyway.
No, and I think that's what bothers me so much. Because it's so talented.
Yeah.
Tony Grimes is a really talented player. Storm Duck is really talented.
They're so talented, but they're not Gene Chiswick's players. And so maybe he just couldn't get the best out of them. And maybe him with the transfer portal and the recruiting, he can figure out how to make that work. I get it shouldn't really matter all that much. Dre Bly was the guy who really coached the DBs and recruited all of those guys, but for some reason, it just didn't work. All right, Storm Duck's going off to Penn State, and all the other guys, they're going somewhere else as well.
Tony Grimes going to Texas A&M.
Tony Grimes to Texas. Wow, I didn't know. I didn't see that. Interesting.
I have followed the transfer portal ridiculously closely.
Of course you have. But I think the North Carolina Tar Heels have got as good a shot at anybody to upset the apple cart. Maybe they can win an ACC championship next year. The ACC championship game, more than likely, I don't really see much of a path for it not being the Tar Heels against the Seminoles. And maybe the Seminoles will just stomp a mud hole in them and keep on going. It could happen. You cannot deny Drake May. He's one of the best quarterbacks in college football as a freshman. And I feel like he's only going to get better. Those weapons are going to continue to grow with him. You got some pieces that you need to replace, but the ACC is wide open to me.
I don't disagree with you, and I'll be honest with you. When I did this little exercise, I had Florida State, Carolina in the ACC championship game.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable numbers for the midweek forecast, and we head uphill with south winds into the Thursday forecast. Our next weather maker comes in Thursday night. Some rain showers Thursday afternoon, turning colder for Friday and the weekend. Could see some light snows for the top of the weekend. 32 our low tonight. Wednesday partly cloudy, high 55. Half-inch rains Thursday afternoon, high 60. And some light rain or light snow Friday, high 38. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and US 1923 exit 4A. 26 eastbound is crawling between I-40 and the French Broad River. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, stop and go, approaching the Blue Ridge Parkway to Mills Gap Road. Hendersonville Road southbound, slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Hendersonville Road southbound, again slow between the Cane Creek and Butler Bridge Road. Merriman Avenue northbound, approaching Edgewood Road, is slow. New Leicester Highway westbound between Patton Avenue and Oak Hill Drive, slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Saturday, January the 21st, it's the Asheville Hot Chocolate Races, celebrating 15 years of running. Choose from a 5K, a 10K, or a half marathon, plus the kids' 1K hill climb or marshmallow dash. It's a downhill start and uphill finish, and the heart of the race is by the beautiful French Broad River. And at the end, you get to enjoy the best hot chocolate in town. The race benefits the Isaac Dixon Parent-Teacher Organization. For more information and to get signed up, go to hotchocolateraces.com. That's hotchocolateraces.com. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA choice and prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. The power rankings for Wild Card Weekend will continue after the most important message of the day, Jeremy Greene, which is...
Don't do crimes!
That's right. And, kids learn a lot in school. Well, when they're not playing on their phones and they're actually paying attention to the teacher, you can learn a lot in school. And there are some intermediate school children from New Jersey who learned a very valuable lesson from their teacher this fall. Don't do drugs. They got a firsthand experience in what can happen when drugs are introduced into a person's system. When their 57-year-old art teacher overdosed on fentanyl in the classroom. Yep.
But
New Jersey middle school teacher, 57-year-old, not important what his name is, Frank Thompson. There it is. Anyway, Frank, apparently he's got a bit of a problem. And in the middle of class, he would just take a little toot every now and then. And overdosed on fentanyl in the classroom at 9 a.m. It's not even like this was at the end of a really hard day. And he was like, you know what, I'm just going to get a start on this weekend. Like, no, this was, look, don't.
That's the part, the time is what
Sure.
you're judging.
Well, I mean, it is kind of rather concerning, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, I would argue that we're going to do the whole day high on fentanyl. This is going to be great, guys.
I would argue that's no better than the sixth most alarming thing about this. But okay.
100%. 9 a.m. in the morning, another staff member at Roosevelt Intermediate School in Westfield, New Jersey, reported an unconscious teacher was found inside the classroom on the second floor of the building. The principal, when he got there, said, yep, I got there, and the nurse was already giving him attention They had to use Narcan on the guy to revive him. He has now been charged with a number of crimes, including endangering the children of his classroom because they found the drugs and paraphernalia inside his art closet. So he had a stash in the art closet that he'd just sneak away and then come back and do his art classes.
Yikes.
Don't do crimes.
I believe the children are our future. I do not believe this guy is our future.
No, not at all.
My story is from Brooklyn. A trio of thieves, and I'll say a less than adventurous scheme. And there's a Brinks driver who's probably looking for a new job. If you know what Brinks is, that's the big armored car that picks up lots of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the number one rule of driving a Brinks truck is? Don't leave the money out of the truck. You can literally bomb this vehicle. Nothing in it will be harmed. But if you don't put the money in the truck, then exactly what happened can happen. 3 men saw a Brinks truck. The police believe that there was no pre-planning to this whatsoever. They just saw this transpire and saw an opportunity. Brinks truck driver goes into a business, collects the bag, sets the bag on the tailgate of the truck. 2 of the criminals asked him for directions. He got so distracted that he walked around the truck trying to tell these 2 people where they were going, while a third grabbed the bag, put it in a car, and drove off. Do you know how much money was in the bag?
$1 million.
$300,000.
Wow.
So let me. 3 guys are standing on the sidewalk and they go, you know what we should do today? Grand theft. And nobody stopped them. That's the part that blows my mind. Some guy just walks up to the back of an armored car like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. There's my bag. I know I left that somewhere. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And walks off to a Toyota Corolla. Why it's a Corolla in my mind, I have no idea.
Why does this scenario sound so familiar? Oh, yeah, Groundhog Day. I know you've never seen it. But this was a scene in Groundhog Day. Like, he kept reliving the same day over and over again, and he witnessed every day the guy driving the armored car. He just drops some change, and he just walks by, picks up the bag, and has a gay old time. Wow.
Yeah. These
That's
3
a hell
have
of
not,
a spur-of-the-moment choice to make.
These 3 have not been apprehended, but there is a description out on their social medias that is entirely too long, and I am not going to read it.
Yikes. Don't do crimes. Wild card weekend is upon us in the NFL. We're ranking all of the playoff teams 14-1. We've given you 14 through 6. Dallas Cowboys at 6. Jacksonville Jaguars, Los Angeles Chargers, Minnesota Vikings, Baltimore Ravens, Miami Dolphins, the bottom 3, New York Giants, Seattle Seahawks, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 14. No arguments from me on this one. You got a losing record, for God's sakes. There are actually people who believe that with a losing record, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl. And
those people are delusional.
Yeah, they hang out a lot with that art teacher from New Jersey.
Correct. They do crimes.
It's now time for the top 5. These are the actual legit Lombardi Trophy seekers in the playoffs. At number 5.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Too low. To me, it's too low. I have Pat Mahomes. I have Andy Reid. We've doubted this team all season long.
And are they better than the Cincinnati Bengals?
And now you're right back. Can they beat the Cincinnati Bengals?
That's not what I asked.
100% they can.
That is not what I asked.
Are they better?
No.
No.
Are they better than the Buffalo Bills?
Nah.
There you go.
Can they beat those teams?
I didn't say they couldn't.
And can they?
That's not what I asked.
Could they routinely beat those teams? Yes.
I don't think they can routinely beat them.
They can.
Because what is it that they do better?
They outcoach
They pat Mahomes better. That's it.
They can outcoach them. And that in the playoffs can matter.
And look, Andy Reid is a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doubting that. He's the best of the 3 coaches. I'm not doubting that. Defensively, you're not in their class. You're just not.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, the tiebreaker here is you're the third best team in your own conference. None of the 4 teams ahead of you can I say that about. Because to me, the 2 best teams in the NFC are as obvious as the nose on your face.
Yes.
The 2 best teams in the AFC are the 2 that are going to meet each other. And they're both going to be angry because they didn't get the chance to make up that game. They're going to be playing Kansas City with a chip on their shoulder. I don't like any of that for you. I don't. I do not see a way. Physically, I do not see a way that the Buffalo Bills do not end up in the Super Bowl. I cannot figure it out. And maybe I'm being too narrative guy. Maybe I've been hanging out with you too long. Maybe I watched one too many Disney movies. I don't know what it is. I cannot see a way that the Buffalo Bills do not end up in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that puts Kansas City at number 5.
Yeah, it's not hard for me to find that path, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. At number 4,
the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, so this is the thing that I've struggled with all year long with this Philly team. I mean, there was a point where they were far and away the number 1 team. You couldn't deny the record that they had. Down the stretch of the season, we've seen injuries creep in, namely to Jalen Hurts, and I think that really matters going into the playoffs. To me, there's one team that is undeniably hot in the NFC going into the playoffs. It's the one that has a 10-game winning streak, and that's not the Philadelphia Eagles.
There is a possibility that and I think it's a very strong possibility, that you are going to have an NFC championship game between Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
There are words that I never thought would ever come out of my mouth, ever. The thing that bothers me about Philadelphia, why I have them here, I feel like they're clearly behind San Francisco. I also can't get that playoff game last year out of my mind of given the time to game plan him and having a dedicated, out of an elite team, not the Giants, not the Commanders, not the Dallas Cowboys, not any of these teams that you have routinely beaten. I'm going to have DeMeco Ryans with a full week to game plan the deficiencies that Jalen Hurts has.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a weird feeling that they will be just manifest for us on a national scene. Now, is there a possibility that I'm wrong? Absolutely. But I'm going to need to see it first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need to see it first.
At number 3,
the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm. They came out this past weekend with a statement to make. And I feel like they fully made that statement. They controlled that game against the Baltimore Ravens, came out, punched them in the face in the first half, and did not look back. Did they coast through the second half? Sure, well, because why wouldn't you? You know Baltimore's not putting up any points with the, third-string quarterback playing.
I like Cincinnati a lot, and if it wasn't for the team of destiny thing that you've got with the Buffalo Bills, they'd probably be higher.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't get away from that. I just can't. This has perfect Disney fairy tale ending written all over it.
Yes, it does.
And people, the NFL's rigged. Oh, God.
Stop it.
Oh, the NFL's rigged, and so they're going to give a Super Bowl to the team in the smallest media market in the league. It's kind of like Tim Duncan. Oh, it was fixed that San Antonio was going to get Tim Duncan. It's the smallest media market in the league.
Mm-hmm.
If they are fixing this, they are doing a horrifically bad job.
Right. Cincinnati Bengals, they have the offense. You know how I feel about Lou Anarumo and that defense. He's a guy that I think is going to get interviews in this.
He
coaching
hasn't,
cycle.
and that's shocked me.
I think he will. As
I
it goes
don't.
on, he will probably get.
I haven't even heard his name mentioned yet.
Really?
Not once.
Interesting.
Now, if they were to get bounced in the second round of the playoffs, maybe you start to hear it.
Yep.
If there's still openings.
Yep.
A name I've heard a lot, Mike Kafka.
Mm-hmm.
Be one of the weirdest roundabouts because he was a quarterback that I absolutely loved coming out of college. He did nothing in the NFL.
No.
And now he could end up being a head coach.
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and company, they made the Super Bowl last year. And you better not sleep on them.
No. And for me, it's not a sleep on them. It's just there are forces at work here that I'm not sure you can deal with.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We got 2 teams to go. We'll get to them up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go 240 westbound between Shuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 240 westbound again, stop and go between Bavard Road and I-40. 26 eastbound, stop and go between I-40 and Bavard Road. Sweeten Creek Road, southbound, stop and go, approaching the Blue Ridge Parkway and continuing to Mills Gap Road. Hendersonville Road, southbound, stop and go between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Merriman Avenue northbound near Edgewood Road, traffic is slowing. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. Depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you won't find PTSD by looking at a thermometer. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a bandage. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. And the wild card playoffs all kick off on Saturday, 4:30. You got the 49ers and the Seahawks kicking off the action. You got the primetime game with the Chargers and the Jaguars. Then on Sunday, you got the Bills, Dolphins, Giants, Vikings, Ravens, Bengals. And then Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
In a boat race.
Oh, stop that.
Cowboys 78, Buccaneers 2.
Just like TCU plus the number, right?
Listen, Jets plus 7. I learned from you.
Look,
hubris comes shortly before the fall.
I don't always get things right, but there's one thing that I did get right this past year, and it was making the decision to change my life with PhD weight loss. 90 pounds I lost with PhD in a year. Obviously the greatest success I've ever had in my journey.
in my battle, I guess I should say, against my weight. I've always been a big guy. I've always been the fat kid. And I always thought that was just the role that I was supposed to play. PhD helped me realize that it's never too late for you to get a handle on your weight problem.
I have not always been the fat guy, but I had gotten a little chunky. I just got back from a trip on South Beach, and, I had gotten to that point in life where you don't necessarily want to take your shirt off. And I thought that, and then I remembered, oh, wait, I'm not the chubster anymore. So I proudly did that. It's all thanks to the planning program of PhD Weight Loss.
Dr. Ashley Lucas has the plan for you. If you always make the New Year's resolution that you're going to lose weight and then you always backpedal and go against it, maybe PhD is the easiest program that you will ever find. It was for me. And the results speak for themselves. I lost more than 90 pounds in the last year. Let's see how good your 2023 can be. Just go to myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss is the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans. 2 teams left in the wild card round playoff power rankings here in the Sportsocracy. At number 2,
the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, God, you did it again. All right, so San Francisco comes in at number 2. Why San Francisco at 2, Jeremy?
2 words. One rhymes with rock, and one rhymes with dirty.
Oh, Rock Dirty Brock Purdy. That's now his name from now on.
It's really hard for me to look at a team that is quarterbacked by Brock Purdy and say that is my favorite. Now, they are my favorite in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
That defense is special. That Kyle Shanahan, mad scientist. But I have a weird feeling that you're going to see all of those things, and it's going to be a repeat of when they played the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Everything goes right. Just a couple little things that you had to iron out. You had a chance. Brock Purdy misses the throw, and you lose the Super Bowl to a team that I am heavily invested in. In the last 2 weeks, with all of the things that have happened and all the galvanizing things around this team, I don't know that I've ever had an investment bigger in a team than in my number 1 in the power rankings.
Nobody circles the wagons.
No. If you're going to do it with the appropriate gusto.
I can't. It hurts my throat.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills at number 1. Like San Francisco, they're my number 1. I have the most confidence in that team because of the lights-out defense that they play. And to me, it really doesn't. I mean, it matters, obviously. I'm not of the Brian Daboll school. Did you see his comments today that playoff experience, it's really overblown? It really doesn't
that is
matter.
not true.
That's not true. I want experience when I'm going into the playoffs. And Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant from last year, doesn't really give me all goose pimples. But he has played within this system. He is effective in this system. They have all the weapons around him. Christian McCaffrey is just phenomenal and finally gets his shot at a Super Bowl. And to me, the San Francisco 49ers are that complete team. They are my favorite. I was the one that said Buffalo by 1 billion in every game they play for the rest of the season. Didn't really go that way this past weekend. It was a 1-score game midway through the fourth quarter with the New England Patriots, who I don't believe in and I don't think are good. So I don't know about that. And the turnovers continue to happen. Josh Allen had, 3 of them against the New England Patriots this past weekend? 27 turnovers in the season. That's borderline Houston Texan football. Now, your good is so much better. Your good is infinitely better than the good of the Houston Texans. So I get that. You're going to be in every game, but when it comes down to it, I don't think I can trust Josh Allen.
I can. I have, and I will.
Mm-hmm.
This team has progressed 1 round every year. That would put them in the Super Bowl, and you add in all of the other things and the talent of this team and how together this team is. I am heavily invested in the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm. All right, there it is. The wild card weekend power rankings, 14 through 1. Buffalo at the top. We'll see how it turns out. I can't trust Buffalo as the number one. The turnover thing.
And yet you can trust Brock Purdy.
Yep. I haven't seen him kill his team like I've seen Josh Allen do a couple of times.
Playoffs are a whole different animal.
Sure they are. TCU found that out. Good regular season team. Get into the playoffs, may not go your way.
We made it through one day. Only 278 to go.
Back-to-back champions, baby. Let's go Bulldogs. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Comfortable numbers for the midweek forecast, and we head uphill with south winds into the Thursday forecast. Our next weather maker comes in Thursday night. Some rain showers Thursday afternoon, turning colder for Friday and the weekend. Could see some light snows for the top of the weekend. 32 our low tonight. Wednesday partly cloudy, high 55. Half-inch rains Thursday afternoon, high 60. And some light rain or light snow Friday, high 38. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and US 1923 exit 3. 26 eastbound slow between I-40 and the Blue Ridge Parkway. US 19 southbound stop and go between Riverside Drive and New Leicester Highway. Hendersonville Road southbound stop and go between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. We'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.